Warning, an ad break is happening. We'll be back shortly.
Alright, there you go. Hey guys, how are you? Look! Even there's a new background and everything. How nice, huh? So, I decided to do a nice little background and stuff because I am not... There might be games, but that's only if, I don't know, I get bored. But today is just a just chatting stream. It's just us hanging out. So that's basically all it is just hanging out and to like specifically Soluna. I do have some stories to tell. These are basically retellings of old Ben stories that I said like ages ago. However, these are rewritten and actually like not only rewritten but actually written out. Like I actually wrote them as in a story format and everything. And now there's a little more consistency in the storytelling. So there's that. There's one that I'm still working on, which is hilarious. So one might actually be a little more, what do you call it? Not good. To say the least. But it's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's like whatever. So yeah. Especially since the previous stories that I told, I don't remember the names that I used. So I decided to just go ahead and just rename all of them. Every single one has been renamed, so it works. Okay, there you go. Now you guys are showing up. Nice. I had to make sure that that's there. But either way. Renamed even Ben, except for Ben. He's the only one for some reason I remember the name of. So, but don't worry. In a bit, I'll go ahead and, what do you call it? Get started on the story. But, how are you guys? How y'all doing? I am kind of personally excited for MapleCon that's happening this weekend. It's kind of sad that it's only for one day, but like whatever. It is what I say. Excited to maybe see you? Hell yeah. I just imagine Soluna just peeping everyone's badges to see if she can recognize my character amongst the many. Just seeing, oh, maybe that's it right there. Maybe. I mean, it may or may not be obvious to see me considering, well, you know, it me, but it's fine. Get your cat, you promise? Totally gonna get my cat. Totally gonna get the cat. But yeah. Also, it's just gonna be kind of interesting for me to kind of go back to my old stomping grounds. For those who know, I did used to live in California like 13 years ago or something. It's been a while. Oh my god, 13 years? 13, 14 years now? Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. So actually it's probably haven't even been that long. I think it's been 10. But time has, my sense of time has been warped ever since working Grave. Ever since I started working Grave, that was a fucking thing where I just don't remember the days at all, the times. Because for me, tomorrow starts when I woke up. So even if it's midnight, 2, 3 a.m., I don't consider it as tomorrow. It's still the same day to me. So, but as soon as I went to sleep and woke up, now it's tomorrow. If that makes any sense. You're, like I said, sense of time completely gets warped. But hey, It's okay. It's okay. But oh, and but with the stories, I think I only have 3 stories written down. If you want me to actually post the transcripts of these stories into something where you guys can actually just read back over, you can. I'll definitely edit them because I put notes in here to like remember the real names of the folks that are in the stories. I'll make sure that those are completely out, so that way things can be as anonymous as possible. Yes, I said anonymous incorrectly into anonymous. So, just to clarify that, if that's popular enough, I don't know. It was also an interesting what do you call it, like rabbit hole to fall down on, because it's been a long time since I've, what do you call it? Okay, y'all want to know a corny thing about me? I wanted to be a novelist growing up, like legitimately become a writer. That is something that I legitimately wanted to do for a while, and unfortunately, obviously, I didn't get to pursue that because it's not like my parents were against it. They just said, well, that's good, but make sure you have a real career. And I'm like, well, okay. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe I'll, sure, whatever, I'll do that. I listened to them because I saw it. Very rarely does anybody make it anywhere when it comes to like being, especially since nobody fucking reads anymore. Have something to fall back on in a way? Yeah, pretty much. Like, my main priority was the medical field, but I took like writing courses just so I can develop the skill, regardless of whether I use it or not. At least I did it. You know what I mean? But of course, I didn't end up using it, because what broke my heart the most, at least for me personally, no one reads literally anymore. Like literally, no one reads. And those who do read, like legitimate novels, are usually like, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of sad, like ironic, given the fact that there's a lot of people who are chronically online and would read messages over and over. They cannot be bothered to sit down and read a proper book. It is kind of ridiculous. 3D? I've always been 3D. What are you talking about, 3D? I've always been 3D. Attention, yeah, exactly. Salute the attention spans. That's pretty much, so like it was already doomed from the start, and like I guess I could just like say, oh, just maybe I could have just read or wrote like light novels, you know, like light novels are a popular thing, or like, but like writing manga is just definitely not something that I was that I was gonna do. Definitely not. You just now notice because of the angle? You know, I will say this, Daedric, I kind of accept that as a compliment that you thought my 3D model was a 2D model. That's actually kind of cool. That means I did a pretty good job trying to make this model look as 2D as possible, ironically, given the fact that it's a 3D model. So I still appreciate it, but yeah, no, I've always been a 3D model, always have been. I just can't move my arms because I lost my thing to make me move my arms. My leap motion. Oops. It's fine. It's fine. But either way, this is why we practice workplace safety. True. It's okay. It is what it is. What am I gonna do? Cry about it? this is what I get for moving my desk from one room to another. So it can only be in the house. I just need to remember where the fuck in the house it is. That's the problem. It's like, where in this house is the leap motion camera so I can move my arms? It's somewhere around here, but I can't for the life of me remember where it is. So like, whatever. But either way, it is what it is. In case anybody's wondering, yeah, I am also trying to write down a story last minute. But it's fine. It's totally fine. One of them is still incomplete because it's a lot longer than I thought it would be, but it's fine. And then, like I said, I have 3 stories that are actually written out nicely in a proper written format, and I think the other ones I'll just write, or I'll just tell the story via memory, if that makes sense. just out of memory. I have an adorable chibi model. Oh, you're talking about like the drawn one? Yeah. It's a cute. That's the closest thing to a 2D model I'll have for a very, very long time. Maybe one day I can have a proper 2D model. But yeah, look at this. Okay, you guys get to see my owl float there for a little bit, but look! It's a whole ass world that is meant for just this occasion. And it's fully 3D. You get to see me with my gizmo out because I was supposed to move. But yeah, it's all 3D, baby. I can't move in this 3D space though, which is ironic. But yeah, it's party, very, very party, and the lighting makes it all nice. One day I would like to actually move around in this space, but that requires me to have like motion capture stuff, and I don't have room for motion capture stuff in my room. My room is relatively small. I picked like the smallest office in my house. I picked the smallest room to be like my office, so I legitimately don't have really any room, but it's fine. It's fine. Cozy looking? Hell yeah. It gives the cozy vibes that I want. Now, mind you, I did not make this 3D world. No. So if you've seen other people use it, it's because it's just free to use. It's just free to use. So it's all good. I am not here claiming that I made this because I got lucky making my model. Making anything 3D is already a miracle in itself. Because there's like no way. No fucking way. Not gonna lie, PoE 1 new league is a no-go because it's ass on console. Bro, I'll be honest with you. I want to play PoE 1, but I hate how it plays versus PoE 2, if that makes any sense. Like, I swear to God, I feel like PoE 1 is poorly optimized. Like, I feel like it's worse than PoE 2. And PoE 2 is bad. I'm not saying that it's great. No, it's also bad, but like at least I feel like I can handle PoE 2 a lot more than 1. I don't know, man. So I tend to just avoid playing PoE in general, the first one, because of just like how shitty it feels. How shitty it feels to play. Which is sad because I like Path of Exile 1. Like, I can play it fine off stream. Like, off stream play, I can do that easy. Hold on, I'm fucking with my mic right now. There we go. So yeah, I can play PoE 1 without any streaming stuff on, and it'll be perfectly fine. But as soon as I launch what I need to launch, it just dies. It just dies. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine, whatever. It is what it is. Like I said, it doesn't help that I'm in a 3D space in my computer and my CPU is like 9 years old. Because that's really all it is the CPU just dying. Like, it's absolutely dying. But hey, it's fine. And pretend you at least stole it? Runtime, you want me to actually get sued, do you? Well, to be fair, I think I think the meta in Twitch right now is to sue everybody. Because I think everybody and their grandmother is suing somebody about something. Over something. On Twitch. It's kind of stupid. Because, oh my god, it is just... Well, everybody, I think a lot of folks already know the drama that's happening, so I'm not even gonna reiterate it. I just know that it's stupid, and I'm not even gonna bother trying to cover it, because there's so many other people who's doing that anyways. And what else I'm gonna add? Oh, this person's bad. Like, wow. What lovely commentary that is. What drama? Don't worry about it. If you have to ask, I won't tell. It's as simple as that. If you want drama stuff, you look up Keemstar. Yeah, like I said, there's so many other people doing the drama coverage that it's like, why should I personally even bother covering something like that if it's like all over the place? You know what I mean? So I don't care. I legitimately don't care. It's already been so overdone anyways. Avoiding drama should be the new trend. It's a long story and it's almost all over X. Exactly. And as I mentioned, and that's the thing though, avoiding drama should be something that a lot of people should strive for, but we humans are nosy. You know what I mean? We're nosy little shits. We want to know what's happening, and if something juicy showed up, we're like, ooh, what happened? Tell me the story. And it's just like, and then that's how everything gets perpetuated into a massive he said, she said interpretations, whether they're correct or incorrect. And then that's why the whole court of public opinion is a thing, which I always hated that term, the court of public opinion. It's clear that the court of public opinion doesn't mean really anything, but I digress. You generally don't care unless I'm directly interested in one of the people involved? Yeah, pretty much. Not to mention people don't like keeping things in DMs. Exactly. Why? Oh, okay. Mini rant. It's very small. Why do people not keep things private? Why is it immediately out in the open? And then they will claim, oh, I tried to talk to him in private, but then usually the secondary party is like, no, you didn't. You just immediately decided to post this up on X. It's like, yeah, why is that a thing? I also feel like that there should be some inside thoughts. You know how not all thoughts are meant to be spoken? You know? Like, the whole matter of, like, think before you speak. I don't think that's a thing anymore. So people will just blurt out whatever the fuck, and they will just cause even more issues in this, in my opinion, a very self-imposed drama / issue kind of thing. It's like, I don't know. Some recent leaked text messages definitely showed that. I'm just saying, everyone has intrusive thoughts. Everyone has something like that. But that doesn't mean you have to openly share everything. You know, like I watched a video on the psychology of people who don't post things online, or who don't post online, or who don't post pictures online. And I'm thinking to myself, so a well-adjusted person? Like they went into a deep dive about some people who aren't active in social media, and I'm like, I'm not active in social media for two things. One, I like to still keep some form of privacy, and two, I can't be bothered. I tried when I first started VTubing. It worked for like a brief moment, but then I'm just like, I don't care. I legitimately don't care. Like, I don't need to follow up on people. I don't need to know what's going on and I don't care. You do believe in the right to defend yourself if somebody calls you out, though? Well, obviously. If somebody's calling you out and it's clearly like wrong, incorrect, or just straight up stupid, yeah. That's when you're like, excuse me, what? That's when you go like, hold on, hold your tits. The fuck you talking about? And then you start the whole, and then that's where you're just like, come on, man. They were like, I hate Twitter. I keep getting spammed by scam bots on my DMs. And you're like, do you even get DMs? You know what? That's another reason why I actually stopped using Twitter, is because of the amount of like bots. Especially, oh, my favorite one, my personal favorite one was this. Your model was nice, but I can make it better. And then they just sent me these clearly AI generated like model looking things, and I'm just like, no, man, no. First of all, you have to be an absolute idiot to pay for AI generated stuff. You can get it for free. Two, I'm not gonna commission somebody to make an AI generated thing, because again, I can get it for free. And then two, hire a real artist. AI generation's out there, and unfortunately, it's not gonna leave. But if I want real art to be done, I'll hire somebody to do it. You know, I'll just hire someone to do it. It's like, I will save up to hire somebody to make me a model. You know what I mean? Because in the end of the day, yes, generative image AI thing is getting good, but you literally cannot replace. If the artist is good, you literally cannot replace what a human can do. It's as easy as that. But I guess that's a AI generation, for some reason, is a hot topic. I don't know why, because for me, it's gonna be around. We have to adapt to it. Either use it and get it, or be better than it. That's it. Like, that's all I have to say. Either we adapt to it so we can be ahead of the AI, and just accept what it is, or find a way to utilize it in our daily lives. Like, that is really all. And it's just generative AI. So that's why I kind of hesitate to call it AI, because of, well, whatever. Anyways, AR art isn't real art. I remember when people used to say that art that you draw through like Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint and all of the digital programs, people didn't consider that real art because you had a machine do the work for you. You know what I mean? I remember back in the day, that's what a lot of people said, that traditional art is real art and digital art isn't real art. Now I feel like we come full circle again and say now that this AI thing isn't real art. I personally don't like it because it all looks the same. You know what I mean? It all looks generically the same. But what's Photoshop? Never used it. Love being dumb. I have a strong feeling, Stray, that you're lying. I have a strong feeling that you're lying. But either way. Or you can save and not get art, get food. I mean, true. But again, when it's like everybody like what's so bad about saving up to have a 2D model, you know, or just get a form of art? it's fine. You don't have to. Always just like, yeah, sure, you can get food, but putting small amounts of money here and there, it ain't gonna fucking break you. But I digress. In PoE 2 someday? Maybe. Once I get a new CPU, I need to test if I can even play with people on PoE. The reason why I play solo most of the time is because other people makes me lag so bad. So fucking bad. So I just prefer in that game to be solo. But if changing out my CPU or just rebuilding my fucking PC at this point fixes that problem, that would be great. And indeed broke. Oh, that's fair. To be fair though, this is a humble brag. Okay, hashtag humble brag. Nobody says that anymore. But I rarely spend money on art. I don't know why. Like, it's not like because like it's not like I dislike other people's artwork. Trust me. I have a long list of artists I want to commission that one day. Using Skeb, alright? If anybody knows that website, just browsing through that makes me go, oh, I want to buy their art. But I'm saving up for a priority. But I'm saving. But first of all, I'm trying. The advantage of having a 3D model, I get to pose however I want. So that definitely eliminates me needing artwork for different poses and everything. So that actually works out very well. And then 2, maybe one day. How to destroy a PC, play Crisis, or play PoE 2 with people? Just PoE in general. just PoE in general. But yeah. But it's fine. Eventually one day I'll 100% have a much more functioning PC. To be fair, when I built this PC, it wasn't meant to be a streaming PC. It was literally just my gaming rig. Who knows? Who'd have thought down the line I will end up doing whatever the fuck I'm doing. So, like, whatever. So who'd have thought that down the line I will actually end up streaming? I didn't know, but nobody knew. But it's fine. It's totally fine. Trying to get all the water I can because, oh my god, I guess today I'm gonna be talking a lot. And Corey, what is... If you want attention, talk. Don't just ellipses in chat. Okay? Like, come on, dude. If you just want to lurk, just lurk. It's fine. If I'm not streaming the kind of content you don't like, it's fine for you to leave. I'm not holding anybody here hostage. It's fine. I get it. I'm like, not all my streams are a cup of tea, but you don't have to just ellipses in chat and to just not elaborate any further. It's fine. You can just leave if you want to. I'm not kicking you out. I'm just saying that you're not glued here. It's fine. "50 years ago building the PC." You know, Flan, I know you're trying to make fun of my age, but building a PC back then is actually kind of impressive considering how fucking, like, ancient and just primitive the stuff were. We are held at gunpoint at our own volition. Yeah, exactly. That's why you guys keep rouletting. Y'all are trying so hard. Bro, like, I used to know somebody who built one of those old ass PCs, and it is fascinating, those things. Nowadays, like, at least nowadays, luckily, there is guides that help you build PCs, but back then I was never able to do it. I don't think I really can. People smoldered their own motherboards? That's what I'm saying! Like, fucking hell. Like, PCs back then, man, back in the early 2000s, even the 90s, I cannot even. They're too chunky, too primitive, too everything. I was just like, nah, man. I'm good. I'm so good in not using those. But hey, it's fine. It's totally fine. Alright. I think my tablet disconnected. Oh, I was about to pull up the stories and my tablet disconnected. How did you disconnect? Just launch. Just launch. How am I had a whole like story page thing with the stories and everything, and it ain't working. Oh well. It is what it is. Oops. So, okay. Let's start with the stories now. Back in my day, a mouse used to have a ball in it, none of this laser stuff. Dude, I remember those they actually still exist. The ball mouses. Ball meese. I remember I used to actually take out the ball and play with it while I was waiting for something to load. Like, the loading times were so bad that you did genuinely had to, like, log, like, as soon as you click on something, you have to find something to either entertain yourself or walk away and do something and then just come back. Because the loading times were, well, to be fair, it was all dial-up, but it was so bad. It was so bad. Oh, come on. Is that not gonna launch? Did it break? It broke. Hold on. Flan, I have a strong feeling that you're actually ageist because you like to make fun of people's ages a little too much. And it's gone to the point that I have no idea where you actually think of it as a joke or you actually just assume that you're invincible because you're young. or that you actually just dislike having, or you just dislike old people, like anybody who's older than you by 1 year or something, because you definitely make fun of our age a little too often, homie. You just joke. I don't know, man. I think you're like, I'm getting old, so and thus I hate old people. There's my headcanon when it comes to Flan. I hate being old, and thus I hate old people. True? I knew it! Let's go! I'm so kidding, but that's so funny. Be like, you know what? He secretly hates old people, and it's fine. It's fine. You know what? I understand. Because I'm also old. I can feel my hips dying on me every day. It's fine. It's totally fine. One year older than, yeah, Flan canonically hates people older than 1 year older than him. Easy. Oh, good, it's working. Cool. All right. 40 years. No. 50 years. Easy. Easy 50. Why is my mic being such a nerd today? Hold on. Maybe I never notice it because I'm usually playing games, but now it's just being a little dork. Eh. Nyeh. There you go. Ah, it's fine. I don't care. I'm used to it. Flan's a bully! We all know this. We know how much of a bully Flan is. We all know how much of a bully he is. It's fine, it's fine. I have come to accept this bully. Considering I'm old? True, that's fair. Ah, shit. Be careful. Marriage is that old ball and chain. Oh my god. Alright. Alright, let's go. Now, let's see. Let's go ahead and start off with a story time. Now, this one's a classic. Let's start off with the story time, and this one's a classic. OGs of the channel will actually have heard of this story before, but the events are not only have been tweaked, but been clarified. And I changed the names of my friends, except for Ben. His name remained the same. I mean, Ben, that's not his real name. Ben's not the real name. But I digress. However, I have went ahead and clarified some of the names and decided to sensationalize a little bit. Now, I will be actually reading, because I did write a whole fucking story. I did write a whole fucking story. However, I will still be ad-libbing some of it for the sake of clarity. And because I can't help it because I'm a fucking ranter. So, alright. So, and the goofy ghost music is definitely gonna help with the mood, for sure. And if you say it's not, then you're an actual liar. Okay, so this story, like I said, is a classic. It's actually the Halloween story from when I technically first experienced Ben. So this one is actually the first time I've ever experienced Ben, and it is rather spooky. This VTuber carries themselves with such British grace. Oh, I'm British in it! So, I'll go ahead and start off with this storyline. If you see me look down frequently, it's because I'm reading it. Because I'm reading the story off of my tablet. Because I'm trying to make sure I'm getting it all correct. So, it's fine. I'm gonna keep looking downwards because I don't know how to read off of a script without just looking straight into the camera. I ain't cool. I don't have YouTube videos. So, it's my first time reading. Hold on, it's been a while. So, let's see where to start off. Okay, so this story takes place in Halloween, or at Halloween, at my friend Sebastian's place. Yes, I decided to use the name Sebastian because of recency bias and because of the evil within. So, keep that in mind. The only reason why one of my friends is now named Sebastian is because of the evil within. Recency bias is definitely a thing that happened. Alright, so it was supposed to be just another Halloween at Sebastian's place. Nothing special, just a bunch of friends, some acquaintances, and we threw up the half-hearted decorations that we put up every year to pretend that it's a Halloween party. Because we had no costumes, no theme, no alcohol, because I think during this time there was no I think we had a few people who weren't over 21, so we just wanted to avoid that as much as possible. We just had movies, games, and just people hanging out. That's really all it was. It was just a chill afternoon. People started coming in, plus some newcomers, not many folks that I'm willing to name. Trent. I think some of you may remember this name. This is a reoccurring name. Trent brought his new girlfriend. I changed her name though. Her name is now Veronica. And I was there. So there were only 2 girls in this party so far. I think there were supposed to be 1 more or 2 more, but I don't think they ever showed up. I think it was just me and her. But it's fine. We were still hanging up our decorations and just hope that things worked out great. Then this is where Barry showed up. Who's Barry? Barry is a friend of a friend named Ralph, who we invited, that we sent invites all the time. He comes in with like a bunch of stuff in hand. Usually when it comes to these parties, he always brings like a Dreamcast, a GameCube, a Wii. Like he has a full ass setup ready for gaming, because he's like, boys, I am here with the games. Like that's how he walks in, and we're just like, awesome. How you doing, Barry? How you doing? But as he walked in, okay, we're like, yay, Barry, what's up, bro? And he's like, hey, by the way, guys, I've heard from Ben. And we're like, oh, everybody went quiet, because we all know Ben at this point, and we all knew and had an experience with Ben at this point. So we're just like, and so everybody was quiet. Because Ben, to quickly describe it, he's a complicated kind of guy. Even though he's part of the group, he's part of our friend group, nobody really wanted him there. But he just became integrated because he was close with Barry. Apparently those two have been kind of friends for a while, but Barry always kept him at an arm's distance. But since Ben didn't really have anyone else that he really talked to, and Barry was the only one that was willing to talk to him, he kind of clung on like a fucking leech. But either way, according to Barry, Ben asked about the party and wanting to know if it was still happening this year, because every year we will throw the same Halloween party. Well, quote-unquote Halloween party. It was just a party that happened in Halloween. Barry, though, told him that it was canceled using our agreed-upon excuse that we all said that we will use in case Ben contacted any one of us, that Sebastian's dad was home and he didn't want noise. He didn't want to deal with the party. He just wanted to, like, relax. And we all said, you know what, that's perfect, because Seb's dad worked a lot, and he was almost never home he was never really home during Halloween. And his dad allowed him to throw parties as long as the house wasn't in chaos, as long as, you know, the house was still clean and nothing was broken. Like, he just didn't care. He's just like, yeah, sure, you know, what am I gonna do? You're fucking, yeah, friends, whatever. So it's fine. So after telling Ben the excuse that, yeah, sure, the party wasn't happening, we all thought, okay, maybe crisis averted. Maybe it's fine. It's okay. But we kind of thought, hey, Shiro, how you doing? But we kind of thought for a brief moment that, who knows? Because with Ben, a lie is a never guaranteed safety. Even if you told him the party was off, he still might show up just to check. Because that's just how he was. And it's like, okay. So, doing good. You just passed the driving exam 2 days ago. Congratulations. Now you go vroom vroom. Welcome to me telling stories. I'm just telling a classic story from ages ago, and just going with the flow. But anyways, going back to the story. So we warned Veronica about him as that night, like as soon as we mentioned Barry. And at this point, I personally never met Ben before. I never seen his face, but I heard the stories. He wasn't violent. He was just like, he was wrong. I don't know how else to describe it. He was the kind of person who like stared too long, laugh at the wrong moments. He didn't seem to understand when something wasn't okay, you know, like it just never really clicked. And yeah, very, very awkward. And Ralph told me once that Ben got weird around girls. He'll probably clam up, and or which is like fine, whatever, that's normal. But then he'll start acting way too familiar with once there was like a girl involved and start getting a little too close. Basically not realizing that there's such thing as personal space. And like and there's like and like there's a switch in his head that apparently can only go through the extreme, like he will clam up and avoid you, or he get a little too close. There's like no in between. So it's kind of like a coin flip, and that nobody wants to deal with. So we told Veronica this, or at least the boys did, and I kind of chimed in too because I heard the stories at the time, and she didn't believe us. She thought that we were exaggerating, maybe even like being being assholes, being a little bullyish because we're talking about all of this behind his back. And Trent, he said, look, if Ben shows up, you gotta hide. Seriously, you two gotta hide. Which kind of took her aback, because she's like, what do you mean hide? Like, what is he's just a normal guy. But then Seb, he agreed. He's like, yeah, you two should hide, and told us that we can use his sister's old room if we did have to hide. She moved out like ages ago, so the bedroom is just an mattress. And I don't remember if there was a frame or not, but it was just a mattress in there. And it had the bare basic stuff to make the bed look presentable. Like, it was very bare basic, because like I said, she moved out and she took everything with her, so it was whatever. And the door to his sister's old room was always closed. And because of this, nobody ever went in there. It was just a rule that everybody just respected. So it was honestly kind of a perfect spot to hide, because nobody goes in there anyways. That was like the last place anybody would check, because for some reason we respected the privacy of somebody who doesn't live there anymore. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That worked out really well. So this was like early afternoon. Now it's nightfall. The house was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, the house was kind of loud. Like, there were like maybe 3-4 TVs going on. One is just playing a random horror movie in the background. We can hear trash talking in another room because they were playing like Super Smash Brothers, and then in another room they were playing like Mario Kart or some dumb shit. And we had a bowl, like a rather large bowl of candy in case trick-or-treaters came by, because there were still some kids who came by and go like, tweet, go tweet, and we're just like, oh, here you go, kid, and we just like threw candy at them and then closed the door. If we can hear the fucking TV, like, it gets kind of ridiculous sometimes. But either way. And then there was like another part of, there was a lot of people in here, and then there was another part of the group who were just sitting there talking about Kamen Rider. I vividly remember the Kamen Rider conversation. It was actually kind of funny. But either way. But while all of that was happening, all of a sudden, the power went out. Like, everything just shut off in the house. And the only way we were able to see around the house was, like, the street lights from the outside. And not gonna lie, we all panicked a little bit. Because we're just like, what the fuck just happened? So, like, some of us went outside to see, like, is there a power outage in general, or what's going on? And it was kind of hard to tell whether the power is out, because our streetlights, they're solar paneled, or solar powered. So, they will just remain on until they ran out of power or morning comes. So those things didn't help. But we did saw like the other houses, they still had lights. Some were still dark, but we just assumed that it was just folks going to bed already. Because I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Hey Val, how you doing? That's cozy. Hell yeah. Welcome to story time. I'm telling spooky stories in a comfy setting. But yeah, so my buddy Sebastian, he was just like, okay, maybe we overloaded the power box. You know, we had too many TVs, we had too many consoles, too many lights, just too much stuff going on and his house was relatively old, so maybe we just like popped a breaker somewhere. And Trent, he was just like, nah dude, that's fucking dumb. Like, what are you talking about? But it's the only thing that made sense, so we're just like, okay, whatever. And maybe that had to be it. So Seb, he's just like, okay, fine, I'll go check the breaker box outside, because in California our breaker box is for some reason outside. Then he's like, okay, I'll go outside and check it just to see if everything's fine. So he grabbed the flashlight and he was about to make it to the front door, but then he stopped and we heard this part that I hated this part. This is a very true part, and this is the part I hated the most. We heard Ben's iconic laugh. Now, how does he laugh? He sounds like a speaker breaking, because he sounds like zzz, zzz, zzz. That's how he laughs. Legitimately, that's how he laughs. He's like zzz, zzz, zzz. I don't know why he laughs like that, but we heard that laugh from right outside the fucking front door. And after we heard the laughter, we heard like heavy shuffling, leaves crunching, and the bushes shaking. Barry froze. Now he's panicking a little bit, and he just said, shit, it's Ben. And he immediately turned to me and Veronica and said quietly to the two of us, because now he's whispering, because unfortunately we don't know how close Ben is, but we were assuming he's pretty damn close, and we managed to hear his laugh through the front door. And he said, you guys need to hide now. And with no hesitation, Seb and Trent grabbed the two of us and guided us to his sister's.
An ad break is happening.
Oops.
We'll be back shortly.
To his sister's bedroom. And he sat us down onto the bed and just said, you guys have to wait here. And Veronica, I remember Veronica at the time, she was legitimately getting scared because she wasn't expecting like the lights to go out, and then like everyone's legitimately having like this panic feeling. Not a panic episode, but everybody's just like freaking out. And so she's freaking out and she's shaking and on the verge of tears. And I'll call Trent out on this. I know he's listening to this. He like hugged her, kissed her on the forehead to try to calm her down. A really sweet, cute moment. And she's like, yeah, I'll be okay. Thank you. And I'm like, oh, how cute. And Seb, being an asshole that he is, he looked at me and he gave me like a wink and a smile. And I'm like, no. Then he just laughed and just closed the door, because basically Seb was saying, you want me to do that to you? I'm like, no, fuck off. Bro trying to get the riz up while everybody's being spooked. But either way. So the two left, they closed the door, and she and I was just kind of like sitting there silently. We're just waiting for things to happen. Then we started hearing knocking. First on the windows, then on the walls. And she and I kind of panicked a little bit. And we can hear the guys outside. It was like Seb, Trent, Ralph, Barry, others just outside calling. Like, Ben, Ben, where are you? And Veronica, like she grabbed onto my arm and she's like, do you even know who Ben is? And at this point, I didn't officially meet Ben. I've just heard nothing but the stories of him. Like that's all I heard was just the stories. And I told her, like, I just only heard the stories. I never actually met him. And then that's when we heard a knock right beside us. Because there's a window right beside us where the bed is. And we heard a knock right against the window beside us. Then and then Ben's laugh came out. That little zzz, zzz, zzz kind of laugh. And we heard, and then we both heard his voice saying, "I hear girls in there." Luckily, the window was already like, the window has like a textured thing on it. Like, Seb's sister like frosted over the window, and it's already half covered by like a big bush. Like, she wanted maximum privacy. Okay, like maximum privacy. So because, I mean, the house is the house is a one-story home. There's no up or down. It's just a flat. So she wanted the maximum privacy, and she likes to have her curtains open because she wants lights in. So the frosted glass and having the bush cover her window was the best way for her to get the privacy. But so luckily, so he didn't actually see us. But the way he said it, it sounded like he can feel us in there, because it was like, "I hear girls in there," kind of bullshit. And like, Veronica nearly screamed. I had to like shake her. And I'm like, and I just shook my head at her because she was about to like actually scream. And so she calmed down a little bit. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? I thought this was a prank. I thought this was a prank, but it wasn't. The problem is, I know it wasn't, because like the door behind us bursted open. Seb and Trent stormed in, and they're shouting like, "Ben, where the fuck are you?" And they sounded legitimately angry. And then outside, I'm hearing Ralph, Barry, and the others yelling, "Come on, dude! Like, stop creeping around, because it's getting kind of like, it ain't funny no more." So it's kind of like getting a little suspicious. And then from the same window, it seems like Ben never really left. He responded like, "I thought you guys said there wasn't gonna be a party. Why did you lie to me?" He sounded almost sad, angry, calm, like kind of like the voice of "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed" kind of thing. And then Barry, the jackass who introduced us to I say jackass, he's not a bad guy, but the jackass who accidentally introduced us to Ben, he stepped closer and started talking to Ben, saying like, "Because of this, Ben," he gestured like throughout the whole room. Like, he gestured everywhere. He just widened up his arms. He said, "Because of this, Ben, this is why. Why are you being creepy? Why are you at the window?" Now, to give you context, the window is behind a wall. Because the window is where the backyard should be to this house. You have to jump a wall or jump a fence. I think it was I don't remember which one it was. But you have to basically trespass to to be at this window. And Ben is there. The others who are outside, they're outside in the front lawn. Ben is in the backyard, and which is what's pissing off Barry and everyone else who was in the room with us, because like, you're just in a home that now you're just trespassing. And then so of course Ben laughed after being like, "Why are you at this window?" Ben laughed, "Because I heard girls." Literally, that's what he said. He's like, "Because I heard girls." And you can hear the smile in his, you can hear the smile, you can feel the smile in his voice. Like, that's how like absurd it was. Like, he was just so excited at the fact that there were women in here. It was like, ugh. And Seb, he snapped. Because one, Ben is trespassing, and then two, he's just like ruining the whole mood of this Halloween party. And he's like, "And you wonder why we didn't want you here, dude. You're a fucking liability," which he is. Because look at the actions that he's doing at this very moment. So after he yelled, basically calling Ben a liability, things went silent.
Or, thank you for the head pat.
Like, things went silent, and then there was like shuffling. We just heard shuffles. We heard shuffling and we heard muffled words, and then suddenly the lights came back on. Like suddenly the lights came on, and we didn't move even after the lights came on because we were still kind of weary over the fact, like, okay, this motherfucker, one, knows where the breaker box is to this house, and then two, where is he? Because we kind of lost track of where he was. But hilariously though, when the power came on, the movie resumed exactly where it was. Everything went we were hearing all the consoles reboot up and everything. So there was like just a loud cluster of noise and then utter silence again. Trent, of course, being like the protective boyfriend that he is to his girlfriend Veronica, he's like, you two stay here, we'll make sure he's gone. And gestured to Seb, come follow me, we need to check this out. And they left and they closed the door. They closed the bedroom door, went out the front door, and just started roaming around. Veronica, I feel so bad for her. Like the dude, like she literally looked like she was in tears. She leaned up she leaned against me. She's still clutching against my arm. She's still very much scared. She's like, well, at least it was supposed to be scary today because it's Halloween and at least we're having like an actual spooks. So it's like, haha, it's spooky at least. And I'm like, yeah, it sure is spooky. It sure is spooky.
Warning, an ad break is happening. We'll be back shortly.
Another ad break? Oh, okay. Did people beat up Ben? I don't know. Maybe. I want to say yes, but I don't know. So after a little bit, she and I was just sitting in the bedroom, kind of like by ourselves and silent. We can kind of hear the guys outside roaming around. And then we heard rustling. We heard like the rustling, the leaves brushing against glass. And she and I immediately figured, oh shit, is he at the window? So when we looked at the window, I swear to God, we saw his outline on the window with his hand pressed against it. We can't actually see him. It's just a silhouette. His hand against the window. His silhouette is there. And we're just hearing him laugh. And it's just like, oh, God, no. Veronica at this point just fucking, she was scared. She didn't want to scream though. She just got scared. And I wanted to yell out immediately because it was just like, okay, here he is against the wall or against the window with his hand on the window laughing. Luckily, before either of us can like say anything, we just hear Sebastian coming from the backyard. Okay, we just hear him like stomping through, and he's like, there you are, you little fucking shit, and just rapidly approached Ben, and suddenly his silhouette just disappeared from the window, and we can just hear more ruffling, more shuffling, and probably a thud. Maybe he just fell over the wall. And then that was it. and that was it. He just suddenly disappeared. And the rest of the night, we did not hear from Ben anymore. Trent went into the room, made sure that we were okay. Veronica was like, now Veronica believed the stories that we told, and he said, dude, like, he's no joke. We don't know what's wrong with Ben. We don't know what's wrong with him. And we still don't really know what's wrong with him to this day, because we're just like, why, what, like, we assumed, at the time we assumed, because it was Halloween, he thought it would be funny to play a spooky prank like that. And it probably would have been fine if it weren't for how he acted as soon as he heard Veronica and I in the room. Like, it probably would have been fine if it weren't for that. He's in the walls. He's the man in the wall. Gross. But yeah, so that is the Halloween event with Ben, and my first direct interaction. But that part sold the performance? I know, right? Again, we assumed that Ben did it for, like, the show. It was Halloween. It was meant to be spooky, so we're thinking, oh, maybe he's just being a little spookster. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he did it on purpose. He wanted us to be scared. But what bothered Trent the most, and still to this day, is how Ben acted once he heard Veronica and I. Now, again, I have to reiterate, at this point, Ben hasn't met me. I haven't met Ben. I've just heard stories about him. So at this point, Ben is still unaware of my little existence. But either way, Seb was very, very angry over the fact that the bro literally jumped the fence to not only fuck with the breaker box, but to start tapping on the window. Like, he's like, you can play pranks, but you need to stay at least in the front yard. Don't go into the backyard. Bro didn't have dogs at the time either, so it wasn't that hard to just roam around the backyard, I guess, at the time. But he was very pissed. Very, very pissed, to say the least. But that was the Halloween event. The first experience I personally had with Ben, and it was definitely not a good experience. It definitely was not a good experience whatsoever. With the gun racking a sound, I know, right? But yeah, OGs of the channel will probably have heard a version of the story before, but at the time it wasn't very cleaned up. I kind of ad-libbed the whole thing. This one was actually properly written. And I asked my friends, do you guys remember this situation? And I still talk to Veronica, and she's like, yeah, I remember this. So yeah, this was a semi-more dramatic, but semi-more detailed recollection of what happened that Halloween night. You're always down to rehear stories? Especially when it's Ben's stories. Ben's stories are... So to give the context to some folks, Ben is a real person. He is not a cryptid. He is not a ghost, a demon, or a made-up character. He is a real person. He is very, very real. And he was... I don't want to say psychopath, but he was not... There was something up with him, to say the least. I do sincerely hope that he has cleaned up his act. But I have no idea, because we all cut contact with Ben after a little bit. It wasn't... There wasn't like... It wasn't a final straw or anything. It just built up, if that makes sense. He didn't do something so bad that it made us all cease communication with him. It wasn't that. It's just built up. A few eggs short of a full basket. Exactly. At least that's what we assume so. Because what's funny that the guy is actually like, because we would have been fine with just a socially awkward guy. You know what I mean? We would have been fine if he was just... Hell, we would have been fine if he was just autistic, but he wasn't. He was something extra not good. Like, we would have been fine with literally anything. But this guy was, I want to say, like, I don't even know if he was a sociopath, but either way. I actually have another story. Again, OGs will remember this version of the story, but now it's a lot more detailed, especially since the person, the main victim of this situation came to me and be like, hey, dude, I want you to tell this story. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, because it's fucked up. So he's perfectly fine with me telling this story, and I rewrote it, re-edited it for y'all's hearing pleasure. This one's a little fucked up though. Not gory, not violent, not anything of one. So Luna got it. It is the chair one. It is the chair one. It is not violent. Okay, I will emphasize this. It is not violent. It is not gory. It's just gross. It is just gross. Okay. Not the sniffer. All right, so let me tell you this story. Now again, this is a rewritten story with a bit more of a detail when it comes to this kind of situation. Did someone sniff a chair? You'll understand the chair sniff in a little bit, Moose. You'll understand the chair. So, to start off, there was a time when we were still figuring out what kind of person Ben was. Because back then, we didn't really have the words for it. Unwell, unadjusted. We just knew that he was... there's something about him that wasn't right. Which is odd because, like, some moments he'll be perfectly, like... He'll act as if he was never like that before, if that makes any sense. Like, kind of like American Psycho, how they can blend into the normalcy, but then snap at any moment, kind of thing. Especially since back then, we didn't know much about mental health or how to handle people like that. So our group, we just kind of ignored it. We laughed it off, told each other, like, whatever, man, maybe this will be the last time. But even though we told him, bro, this ain't cool, it felt like it never really clicked in his mind that it wasn't actually cool. You know what I mean? Like it felt like it never was actually cool. So at this time, I still didn't really know him. I only knew him through stories. And these stories were like passed around while we were like hanging out late at night at like 2 a.m. or some dumb shit. Like these were stories that we told just to freak each other out. So I don't know if some of them were true or not, but I know this one was true. But the thing is, what's hilarious, every time Ben was mentioned, or it mentioned that he might show up, the mood just immediately shifts. Like the conversation would stop, plans would change, and somebody, usually like Trent or Seb, will make sure that I just happened to leave before Ben arrives. Like they will always tell me, okay, Vin, you gotta go. And I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no, if Ben is coming, sorry, no offense, but you gotta go. I'm like, okay. I never took offense to it because with all of the stories I've been hearing about Ben, I'm just like, I feel like I shouldn't take a risk. You know what I mean? So I never held it against them because I understood where they're coming from, especially Seb, who he's like the defensive one of the group. He's like, I fight for my friends, okay? He's like Ike from Fire Emblem. He's definitely that kind of guy. I fight for my friends kind of guy. So he's very protective of everybody. We like Ike. Yeah, exactly. Like that's like his core personality with us. So he made sure that people that he considers friends are fine. But this is kind of so let me tell you like a bit of the beginning with Ben and how he got in there. So like, is Seb the leader? No, Seb isn't the leader. The one who hates the title is what's the name that I gave him on these stories? Marcus. Marcus is the leader. But sorry for the derail, no problem. So at this point, for a little backstory and how Ben got into the group a little bit, according to Ralph, as I mentioned from the previous story, Barry and Ben were friends before Barry met us, and Ralph was the reason why we met Barry and Ben, because Ralph and Barry, they came from the same university, and they were fucking inseparable at the time. Like those two got along real great. They liked the same bands, they liked the same anime, they liked the same games. Like they just hung out a lot. Like those two were like almost twins. Unfortunately, Ben was always like the tag along. He was always following Barry everywhere because at the time Ben only knew Barry. That was like
Oh,
so he
thank
was
you
just
for the head pat.
so he was just like the little guy that followed him everywhere. And Ralph, he told me he told everybody, like he thought that Ben was just like a shy guy, the quiet type. The one who would just sit there silently while we're playing Smash Brothers, you know, hands folded, just looking at everything. Like, he's literally, like, shrinking himself into the background. But then, whenever... And so Ralph felt bad, so he will try to include him to some conversations or have him play, and whenever he did, Ben will, like, perk right up. He will smile and just, like, be like, yay, someone noticed me, and kind of thing. And at first it was fine. He's just like, you know what, maybe he's just a little socially awkward. He doesn't understand how, like, maybe he didn't get social interactions too well. It's fine. We can adapt to that. It's fine. But then after a few weeks, something shifted in Ben. Because Ben stopped hanging out with Barry, which was already a red flag number 1. And he started following Ralph everywhere. Like, literally everywhere. At the time, Ralph was living in the dormitories, and I don't know how Ben figured out where the fuck he lived in the dorms. Like, he would show up at his dorm, uninvited, wait for him after class, started just mimicking Ralph in any way possible. Like, it was fucking weird, dude. And Barry, not Ralph, surprisingly, my body is physically reaching to this story. Really sounds like somebody that knows how to weaponize the sad puppy personality. Here we go. And Barry noticed all of this first, and he told Ralph, dude, be careful of Ben. Don't get too close. He gets really, really clingy. And Ralph, at first, this is the first time this ever happened to Ralph, and he thought that this never happens in real life. He thought that kind of shit never happens. You know, he's harmless, dude. He's just awkward. Oh boy, was he wrong? So one afternoon, Ben came up to Ralph, all smiles, his jittery energy. He was so excited to finally remouth Ralph, and he's like, Ralph! Oh, hold on. What's his voice? Ralph, I got the best dream ever. Can I tell you? And Ralph didn't think of it. He's like, sure, go for it, dude. So Ben sat down next to Ralph, a little too close, and he leaned in, close to Ralph to tell him, his voice trembling with excitement, he says. And the story was, okay, so it started with me and you on a date. I managed to drug you, but don't worry, it's just a dream. And drag you all the way back to my house. Then I tied you to a lawn chair, naked, and made your balls hang down from the lawn chair because it's one of those strappy lawn chairs, you know? I had a fondue burner melting cheese right under you, and I made sure that, and I made sure it was like nice and warm, so I dipped your balls into the cheese fondue and licked it off. Of course, Ralph, being a normal person that he is, he didn't even process what the fuck was just said to him. He was just like, the words were too absurd, too grotesque to make any sense of that. Eventually, he jumped up and shouted, what the fuck is wrong with you, my boy? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Ben stared at him with Ben still stared at him with a small smile, but confused, like a child being scolded for coloring on the walls. They not fully understanding what he did, saying like, what's the problem? It's just a dream. Ralph was like, bro, like fucking, I don't dream or not, that shit's fucked up, dude. Okay, I don't even swing that way. And while he was saying that, he's like backing up, okay, like holding his arms out, trying to like give the gesture like fucking go get away from me kind of thing. When Ben noticed that Ralph was not receiving this dream very well, like his smile fell, his face twisted into like some form of anger, and Ralph said that like something inside him snapped and he just walked away without a word, like something disappointed him. And that night, Ralph called Barry, still fucking shaken by the whole thing, but he tried to laugh it off, saying like, dude, Ben is fucking weird, like, he told me this story and what the hell? And Barry, he gave a big old sigh and it was like, dude, I told you. He's done that before. He doesn't understand how to process his feelings. He twists everything into something romantic, which is why I never hang out with him alone. Notice that if we do end up being by ourselves, I always kept him in arm's distance. Like, I don't really, like, until we're with another person, I don't really try to interact with them too much because this has happened before. And Ralph was like, wait, what do you mean has happened before? To who? And he's like, just to anybody who's nice to him. And Ralph sat there and be like, that's kind of sad. And Barry was like, yeah, but the problem is he pushes people away because he doesn't understand that his actions are fucking wild. So Ralph made a formal announcement in our server, our VC chat thing, saying, for now on, if you manage to find yourself alone with Ben, run. That's basically what he said. He's like, run. Do not be close to Ben. Don't think about it. You should not be anywhere near the lad. Because he can take things way too far. Way, way, way too far. And, yeah. Poor guy fucking... A poor guy was kind of disturbed by the whole thing for a very, very, very long time. But yeah, that's the chair story. And I finally got like the intricate details of the chair story and how actually fucked up it is. At first it sounds fucked up in a way that it's just gross. You know what I mean? Like that it's just gross. It's like, why? First of all, why is that something that you will tell somebody about? Yes, it's just a dream, but like you don't go around telling somebody, hey, you know, I thought of this of you. You don't do that. It's, oh boy. He's still processing the info, but like, what? We usually call those nightmares instead of dreams? You think so? Sometimes, not usually. Being tied to a chair isn't bad from personal experience, but that second half is Hannibal level degenerate behavior. Ben is definitely a sleep paralysis demon manifested. It's definitely, he's definitely something. That's for sure. Oh, Ben. Oh, Ben. And it's rather unfortunate that happens a little too often when it comes to our boy Ben. But Ralph, honestly, to this day, is still personally, like, bothered by that. You know what I mean? Like, he's still really, really bothered by it because it's like, dude, who legitimately does that? And I still can't blame him to his day because it's still kind of like, ugh. Ah, good night, Death Dragon. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Thank you. Hey Daedric, I hope you've been doing well. I've been doing fine. Just telling stories. Sorry, I had to reply to a message real quick. But it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm actually looking at the one last story. One more. Well, it's not a last story, but one story that it's still technically incomplete. But this is simply because this is the personal experience I had with Ben. This is what caused me to meet Ben for the first time. And the eventual of him not liking me. It's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Maybe one day I'll have a drawn representation of what Ben should like in theory look like. Maybe a demonic version. That would be funny. Oh, that would be really, really funny. Hell yeah. He's a creepypasta after all. Yeah, I did notice that after I actually looked up, or actually used starting the word, or named our local nerd, our local creep, I should say, Ben, I completely forgot about the Ben drowned creepypasta. It's been so long I thought about that, but like, oops, it's okay. But it's fine. It's totally fine. So, now this is a personal story with Ben, and it is one hell of a thing. Now again, I kind of sensationalized it just a little bit, but this is all very fucking true. Which is why I was very glad that I just ended up acting the way I did, and now Ben doesn't like me anymore. And that is what I will say a very good thing, because I will not excuse bullshit like this. So, a creepy story part 2, or creepy story number 3, Ben related, and this one's gonna be kind of funny. So, here's some background information. My personal experience with Ben happened after the Halloween party. I don't remember how long it was after the Halloween party. I want to say maybe 2-3 months afterwards. Because he didn't show up at all during that time period. Well, when I was around. Maybe with the others. Maybe they did. But I digress. He kind of just disappeared, and none of us really thought of it, if that makes sense. We're just like, okay, Ben disappeared. Anyways, it sounds like we're assholes, and we are. But, like, after some situations, we kept him at arm's length. You know what I mean? So, I hope y'all ready for the shenanigans that is this meeting with Ben, because it was genuinely kind of creepy. And that's how I got pissed off. Like, absolutely just pissed off. So, this was the moment when I finally met the infamous Ben. Now, I always did have a morbid curiosity about this guy. I've always wanted to meet him. Again, out of morbid curiosity, because, like, how bad... Because, you know, you hear all of these stories, and even though I had that Halloween experience, I still chalked it up as maybe he's just being in the Halloween mood. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a Halloween mood. Like, it had to, like that is it. Maybe he's not as bad. I did hear about the Ralph incident, and I'm like, that's gross. But because it didn't really happen to me, and I felt bad for Ralph, like, I legitimately did. But because it didn't happen to me, I'm just like, I'm still curious. You know what I mean? Like, curiosity, like, there's a reason why there's a saying called curiosity kills the cat. Because, like, I was very, very curious about this Ben. I was just like, there's like no way. No way. No way. So, for a few months, the group. So, for a bit of backstory, though, for a few months, the group would hang out at a small mom and pop coffee shop. It wasn't Starbucks. It was a mom and pop. Wow, that's hard for me to say. Mom and pop coffee shop. Try to say that. So, and it's like it's a cute little thing where like it's a cute little mom and pop shop where like the bell never stops ringing because there's always people coming in and out ordering little coffee. It was literally manned by a mom and pop. It was a family-owned business. It was really cute. And then they had an outside balcony where my friends and I, or mostly my friends, because I didn't really hang out here too often, would hang out on in the balcony, usually in the far edge of this balcony by themselves, because it's usually a pretty big group. And they would stay there for hours, talking and chatting and everything. And like I said, I never really joined them on hanging out in this coffee shop because it was just mainly out of the way for me. Because at the time, like when I was going to uni, I had to drive out a little further than others because I lived kind of far away from everyone else. So I just kind of went straight home afterwards, and I kept my distance because I wasn't. I just didn't want to drive all the way there. You know what? The top spot at the mom and pop one-stop coffee shop. Oh my god, how dare you do that to me, Moose? So, but one day, that very specific day, Seb called and he's like, hey, you should come out and hang out today. And to be fair though, it sounded more of a request than an invite. He's just like, you should hang out today kind of thing. And to be fair, that week, I remember that week has been particularly bad. It's the kind where you just feel heavy and hollow and you don't want to really leave the house or talk to anyone. And obviously my friends noticed, so I've just been kind of in my own little corner. And I just went, sure, fine, whatever. Like, I reluctantly agreed. And Seb, he was like, cool, better see you there. He said it half joking, but he was also kind of half serious. Like, I better see you there. Like, come on, man. You need to get out kind of thing. Like it gave that kind of vibe. So the drive from where I lived to the coffee shop was about 10 minutes, which is just long enough for me to like kind of clear my head. This will sound silly, especially again, I used to live in California, but I like driving. Driving was a good way for me to just clear my head. If it weren't for expensive gas prices, I would go out on a drive, windows down, and just kind of go with the flow. I don't care if I really got lost because at least we had like GPS, and just drive out somewhere and just hang out. Like that's what I liked to do. So it was cool. But my phone started ringing. I've heard my messages pop in, and I was just like, but I ignored it because I was in the freeway. You know, I can't answer my phone while I'm in the fucking freeway. Like, there's no goddamn way. Late night drives take in the moment, and the city kills all the head static. Exactly. But it fights with people who don't know how to drive and gas prices. Yeah, that's the problem. Also, hello, Gato. And yeah, that's the problem. It's just like, drives are peaceful, but the gas prices and then just the idiotic drivers kind of makes it hard to have it be a relaxing drive. But I digress. But yeah, my phone started ringing. I started getting messages. I ignored it because, like I said, I was on the freeway. I couldn't answer it. It's illegal. Yeah, gas prices downtown are $5 a gallon, bro. Yeah. Also, hey trip, but yeah, no, it's ridiculous. So, when I got there, I sat in my car for a minute, kind of like sitting there preparing myself to interact with people, you know what I mean? Like, being an introvert is already hard enough as it is, but being a tired introvert is even worse, because it's just like, like, I know, like, hanging out with friends will definitely help get me out of this mood. Like, it will 100% get me out of this mood, but I also don't want to interact with people, if that makes sense. Like it's a very silly thing. Thank you for the follow. So like I don't know if anybody can relate to it. But either way. So anyways, as I left the car, the guys were sitting outside like usual, and I spotted Marcus first. He's Moose is using the force, don't worry. Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening? Is Moose being an absolute crazy nut? So anyways, I left the car and I saw the guys sitting in their usual spot. I spotted Marcus first because like I'm gonna be honest with you, he stands out from the rest of them because like he's the de facto leader, that he hates being called the leader. Marcus never liked that, but it's not our problem that he's like the more assertive out of all of us, and we're just like, yeah, you go ahead, dude. So when he saw me, he waved, but I immediately noticed something that was wrong because his face was tense and his eyes started darting towards the coffee shop door, and I was like, what's going on? So as I got closer, I asked like, yo, what's up? What's happening? And he's like, this isn't gonna be good. He just straight up said he muttered like, this isn't gonna be good. He didn't even look at me, so he's still looking at the coffee shop door. And I wanted to turn around to look, but Seb grabbed my shoulders because of course Seb was there. He grabbed my shoulders and he's like, don't look back. I was like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, I thought they were playing a prank, so I was like, no, what the fuck, guys? Let me see. But Seb, he actually grabbed me and was like, no, don't actually look back there. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I actually started feeling a little bit of dread because like they're actually being serious, and I thought, okay, maybe there's just some elaborate prank, but I don't know. And they're like, oh, but I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then Marcus, he said, Ben's here. And I sighed. I'm like, oh, of course he is. Like I sighed, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, this is not the week I wanted to meet Ben in, because again, I'm in that fog. And Seb, like, he said, like, we tried calling you, but you didn't answer. I'm like, yeah, I was on the freeway, like I was on the freeway. I'm not gonna answer my phone, but you guys can handle it, right? I mean, it's just Ben. Like, if I'm here, y'all can just tame the boy, right? But Marcus, he still had that piercing, like, pissed off eyes, like glaring at the door, and he's like, we'll see. That's all he said, we'll see. And then he nodded towards the door, like he gestured like this, like, we'll see. And three people stepped out. It was Barry, Ralph, and a third one that we all knew who it was immediately. Well, that I knew who it was, even though I never seen him before. I immediately recognized him. It was Ben. It was just like, huh. I knew about Ben, obviously. I heard of the stories of how he never understood boundaries, tone, or literally anything. It's just like something clicks as soon as something happens. Like, we never even knew. And what's even funnier, Ben is taller than Barry, but shorter than Ralph. But he slouches terribly. The reason why he vanishes pretty easy because he has an awful slouch. Like, bro's like banana shaped. Okay. And what's funny, his hair is tied up into like a, I remember this. His hair is tied up into like a bun. And I remember it being greasy as hell. Like, matted and greasy. I'm like, oh, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? As soon as I saw him, like, yeah, okay. And then, like, he clearly didn't really care about dressing himself because, like, his shirt had the wrinkles of, like, I slept in this shirt and I didn't bother changing it kind of thing. Like, it's just like, yeah, okay. If you're definitely a Reddit mod kind of vibe. So he didn't notice me still, and because I finally managed to turn around, but he didn't notice me still. But when he looked up, you know sometimes when you're just staring out and you make brief eye contact with somebody and you look away instantly because you're like, oh shit, like we saw each other kind of thing. That's what happened. Like our eyes met for a brief second and he froze. I froze. And then like a switch that flipped in his head, his face lit up and he moved like really fast. Like he was about to run to like he was about to run to the table. Built like a nice guy, exactly. And thank goodness Barry knew that I was there. And because I'm assuming like the guys all texted each other like oh, Vin's coming. They're like, cool. And then I guess Barry tried to warn that Ben was coming over regardless, but whatever. So but Barry grabbed him and yanked him back, be like, bro, fucking no, you're not running. So I muttered to myself, oh, here we go. Okay, and Seb and Marcus, like, they were sitting next to each other. They scooched over and gave me enough room to sit between them. So I was sitting between Seb and Marcus, and they were basically my two human shields. Now, to give perspective, Marcus is like, he's a pretty tall guy. Okay, he's like, that's all I can say. He's a pretty, like, he was built to be like some kind of fucking football player, but he much preferred to play video games. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like he was built to play sports, but he's like, nah, video games are my passion. And Seb, he was just he was just as big, but same thing. Like, they were both relatively tall, broad guys, but video games are the passion, if that makes any sense. I don't know how else to describe them. But so Ralph was walking up, and like, I think he was the only one who didn't get the memo that was coming, because he was like, oh, hey, Vin, I didn't expect you to show up. Kind of like in that same exact voice. Like, he was kind of like, oh, you're here. Oh, shit. He wasn't upset that I was there, but he was like, oh, God, now we have to hold back Ben as much as possible. He was still staring at Ben the whole time, by the way. Like, these two, like, Ben and Barry, which I just realized they're, like, both, it's very close to Ben and Jerry. The ice cream. They're literally keeping an eye on Ben this whole time. Like, they're not at all removing their gaze off of this man who is probably, at this point, like, trembling in excitement. Okay. Ball fondue flavor? Oh my god. You know what? That can be a flavor. And gamer subs. Ball fondue. I'm just saying. I can have brain juice and ball fondue. That will be the most hilarious flavor names and choices out there. I'm just saying. You gonna hit you with the dad jokes? Yeah, do it! Yo, thank you for the biddies! Thank you. That is disgusting.
Something bothered
exactly.
You. L_T_I_P_L. We strive for a positive atmosphere here. Let's keep it pleasant. M.
Can we put Saluna in the corner for a timeout for the ball fondue flavor? Maybe later. So, and I'm like, so I responded like, yeah, I got invited, so I figured I stopped by. Like, I'm trying to, like I'm trying not to sound annoyed, because I was grateful for the invitation, but it was just really unfortunate of the fact that Ben showed up, you know? It was just like, ah, shit, dude. So, as soon as I said, yeah, I got invited, I figured I'd stop by, Ben immediately, like, fucking shouted, "Oh, I recognize your voice!" Like, he blurted it out, almost shouting. And he started power walking towards the table again and scanning for like an empty chair, seeing if there's like one close to me. But as soon as he realized that he cannot sit next to me because fucking Seb and Marcus are just like towering over me, being like fucking like statue guardians to a fucking gate. There, he's like, okay, I'll just. He sat just directly in front of me. And at the time, I didn't really process what the fuck he just said. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how can he recognize my voice? He never heard me in VC. We never met before. Like, what do you mean? And then he straight up said, "I heard you on Halloween. You were that girl." And I'm like, what the fuck? And I saw Trent shift a little bit. And then I remembered, oh right, there was Veronica too. Like, she was with me that night. Because she was like, oh, you were with that girl. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, that was like 2-3 months ago. Like, how do you even remember that? Like, I didn't even remember that. Like, it took me a minute. I kind of forgot. The walls have been. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how did he even? So, like, let me move. There you go. So, oh my god. Ben can only be summoned if enough of the group is together. You know what? That is a funny theory that I'll get into later. But I'm like, how do you even remember that? That was 2-3 months ago. And then Ben had like a fucking wide ass grin, a little too wide, a little too eager to start talking to me. And he's like, you have a distinct sound. You sound like Renamon, my favorite Digimon. I'm like, of course. Of course you like Renamon. Now, I don't. Disclaimer, I do not sound like Renamon. I don't think I do. I haven't heard that character speak in absolute centuries, but I'm guessing that's what he thinks. Now you cannot watch Tamers. Oh my god. But yeah, like, he had, like, you don't even know Renamon's English voice? Like, if you look it up, I personally don't think, I know I don't sound like Renamon, but that's what he said. He's like, you sound like Renamon, my favorite character. And like, he's all jittery and happy, and Barry like smacked him on the shoulder and he'd be like, calm down there, buddy. But Ben like fucking like Ben scoffed, but he didn't stop bouncing in his chair. His legs swung onto the table, shoes tapping in a fast rhythm. Like, he's like super excited that now he's talking with female. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like fucking whatever. So we all sighed and we're just like, okay, whatever. Let's change the subject here. And so we started talking about an MMO that we were all playing at the time. We were talking and we were talking about like the dungeons we just ran. We had a guild fight, or like a PvP guild battle that we were in, and like just random events, the usual. Like, we were just talking about the game that we were playing because it was just like our current obsession, I guess, at the time. And I'm trying really hard not to make eye contact with Ben. You don't sound like random. I told you I didn't, but in his mind I did. But yeah. But every time I look at him, he's still looking at me. He was just staring at me, but he wasn't smiling. Kind of like I think there was a small smirk, but he was just observing. You know what I mean? Like, he was just observing, taking notes on what we were saying and what we were doing. Like, he was taking mental notes, and I'm just like, huh, okay, well, that's a thing. I brushed him off and just kept talking. But we, like, it was like hours later. By the time I said I was ready to head home, the sun is already setting. Like, it's basically nighttime. It was like twilight, near dark, near nighttime. And as I stood up, getting ready to stand, as I stand up, getting ready to leave, Ben stood up at the same time, like,
Hydration is
I
important.
think trying to indicate that he was gonna walk me to my car. But Barry and Ralph, like, grabbed him. They both grabbed him by each of his arms and, like, pulled him back down to sit down. They're like, no, you're not. And just pulled him back down. Like, you're like, you ain't moving. No, 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 no. You stay right here. And Seb took that opportunity to stand up and say, I'll walk you to your car. And I nodded. I'm like, sure. Okay. And just waved, just did a general wave goodbye to everybody and turned around and walked away. And you know what's even creepy? I can, like, Ben, I know, I didn't see it, but I know Ben was still staring at me as I was walking away because I can, like, feel his gaze. Like, something was pushing me on my back. And I'm just like, oh my god, boy's intense. It's weird. It legitimately gave me, gave me the creeps. And Seb and I didn't talk the whole way that I was towards my car because we were just kind of, like, tired. We were just, like, not dealing with it. And the only thing he ended up saying, like, see you online, I was just like, yeah, sure. And that was it. Like that was it, because he was just, I think we wanted to do, he later specified that he wanted to redo this hangout. He just felt bad that he asked me to hang out, but it kind of got ruined over the, like, it kind of got ruined over the fact that Ben was there. It kind of got ruined because Ben was there. So, either way. But that night, I was logging into the MMO that we were playing, and I stayed on the title screen for a little longer than usual because I was just kind of, like, taking a deep breath. Kind of like, I was tired. Again, that week was not jiving well with me, but I was just like, okay, this will be fun, you know. I do need like a real proper break. So I logged in, and, like, as soon as I logged in, I swear to God, I got, like, a friend request. Like, I barely loaded in and I heard the chime for a friend request. I was like, what the fuck? And who the fuck is giving me a friend request anyways? I never talk to anybody outside of my friend group because I don't like talking to people in MMOs, ironically. So I accepted the friend request and then I messaged, and then I accepted the friend request because I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's somebody that I know, but I just need to know who they are. And I was about to, and before I can even ask or open the message to ask, like, oh, like, new phone, who this kind of situation, I got a text saying, thanks for accepting my friend request. And I'm like, no problem. Who is this though? Fucking, they replied with, oh, you know who, and there was a winky face. And then a heart. And I was like, uh-huh. I knew immediately who it was because of that winky face. I was just like, okay, I knew who it was immediately. So I blocked them. I blocked them immediately. I didn't even need to specify who it was, ask who is specifically. I already knew who it was. So I blocked them. And Marcus, as said, was already online. Hey, Working, how you doing? Welcome to my story time, as I tell stories of an event by a very specific person. So, Seb and Marcus were online, and I told them what happened. I messaged them in the game and be like, dude. And I basically messaged like, dude, Ben found me online. And Seb was, and they're like, okay, you know what? Let's get into voice chat immediately, because it's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on? So, I go into voice chat, and Seb was like, how did Ben find out my IGN? And I'm like, to be fair, and I said this, I'm like, to be fair, you guys say it out loud all the time, so it's not really hard to figure it out, because I go by my in-game name, IRL. Because for some reason, we all call each other by our in-game names, even though we were friends before I don't know. We that's just what we did. That's how fucking nerdy we were, all right? So, like, they call me by my name in game, and that's just how it was. And so while we were talking, and then they were just like, dude, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh god, we're sorry that he had to meet Ben. And I'm like, you know, it should be fine. It's like, whatever. I mean, yeah, sure, he found me in the MMO, but like, whatever. You know, you can block him. But as we were speaking, I noticed something in the background, because I'm in a major city in this MMO. Okay, I was just running around in a circle, you know, exploring the city, because when you're chatting and you're concentrating more on the conversation than playing the game, you just tend to roam around. So I started noticing like a very like a player model kept showing up, like a character in the background, just showing up either in the corners, right in front, like whatever, like a very specific character model just kept showing up. And at first I thought nothing of it, because I'm like, okay, you know what? It's very common to have a similar looking character model, because like it's an MMO, you know, fucking anything's possible. But it kept showing up. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking go after this dude, man. Like who the fuck is it? So I will chase the character model, and they would run away. But as soon as I like literally turn my camera or turn the character to go around the corner, the character is gone. So I'm like, oh, so they just changed channel. That's cool. And I'm like, if only it was a PvP zone, you would have murked them. True. Oh, and to answer your question, working, it's a stalker. Not really an ex. And it's not really like, but he's an accidental long story. I'll tell you about it later. But either way. So I'm like, there's a character following me. I just said out loud while we were in voice chat. Other people came in the chat, by the way. So it's not just me, Seb, and Marcus. Now there's Trent. Now there's others in there. Okay, and I just like, there's a character following me. And Marcus just pointed out, I like, did you block him? I'm like, of course I did. But it doesn't really stop you from seeing the character model, you know what I mean? Like, you can block all the characters you want, but you'll still see the character model. There's no way to prevent you from not seeing it, like, unfortunately. So I'm like, but then Seb asked, like, do you remember the IGN so we can report him or something? And I'm like, no, unfortunately not. I blocked as soon as I got the messages, and I'll be quite frank, I don't remember the name, so it could be anything. And at this point, I began running out to like the remote part of the MMO, because you know how there's areas that are just simply empty because there's no reason to be out there. There's nothing to gather, there's no quests, there's nothing. It's just like an old part of the game that people tend to forget. And I'm there now. And I'm making sure that I'm by like the wasteland's pretty much just nothing. Exactly. Like I'm making sure I'm there, because I'm thinking, okay, maybe Ben won't find me here. Okay. And it's just, and because there's no players, there's barely any NPCs, just empty fog. But I still see the motherfucker out there. For real, this is real, by the way. I still saw his character model. I'm like, guys, he's doing like a fucking /follow thing. Like, how do I prevent this from happening? And they're like, dude, I don't know. Like, you gotta figure out the name. So I'm trying to chase now after Ben's character to right click and look at the name. And I'm trying to also use the menus to see the name of this character so I can do a proper report. But like, either he leaves too quick, like, I don't know, the bro became an enigma, and I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna log out. I'm not in the mood to deal with him. I just wanna relax, chill, have a good time, you know? Like, I'll still stay in chat, but I don't want to be in the game. And Seb was like, look, let us know if he does anything offline. Like, he's both concerned and angry at this point, because as I mentioned before, he's the Ike of the group, okay? We like Ike. He is protective. So now that this is happening to one of his friends, he's getting kind of pissed, and he is more than willing to just be like, all right, I'm gonna punch a fucking mother. I'm about to punch a guy and make sure he stays down for at least 5 minutes. Like, it is ridiculous. And at first I thought like, yo, Cat!
Welcome.
Yo, thank you for the
Catashine
raid.
and
Hello,
Raiders.
hello.
Enjoy your time here at the Atelier. M.
How y'all doing today? Hello, hello, and welcome to story time. I am currently telling a story, a very interesting story of Ben, one of the main creepy character in my past that is fascinating to say the least. Hell yeah! I'm the knockoff Temu edition of Jinx. But yeah, so but yeah, I'm just telling spooky personal stories of this one guy named Ben who is absolutely not a right person. I do have a I do have 3 stories written out. I can retell them, probably give summaries, but yeah, it is very, very, very interesting to say it is to say at least. But yeah. So where was I? So after very clearly being stalked in game by Ben, and I decided to log out of the MMO because I'm like, I'm not dealing with this motherfucker. No, I'm not dealing with this at all. I just sat there, and then I just started like working on like other things. I was just on the computer. I think I hopped into like an offline game and started chit-chatting and whatever. And we were still using, and at the time I still had 2 messaging services. Discord. I had 3 actually. I Discord when it was still brand new. Steam, and for some reason Skype was still around. Yeah, I know Skype. I can't fucking believe it. But we still unironically used Skype, but we still had friends who still kind of refused to move out of that old messaging system, so we kept it around. Now everybody weaned off of it, so thank God. But anyways, but I started playing a game offline. I don't even remember what it was. Yeah, I think it was Starbound or something, and I started playing it, and I was having a good time. You know, chit-chatting with everybody and everything. And I suddenly get a fucking message. Just a random message on Steam. Out of all places. And I was just like, oh god, who the fuck is it? And I looked at the message. It just straight up said, oh, why did you log off? I'm like, okay. Alright. That's cool. It was Ben. I was just like, how? I'm like, okay, I get that he managed to find me because we do have a group in Steam that we hang out in and everything. Like, it's possible to find me. But, like, I didn't have him as a friend. So why the fuck did he just... That pissed me off. At the time, I didn't have, like, I had anybody who was able to message me. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So, I just ignored it. I just clicked ignore. That was it. And then blocked. I was like, I ain't having this. I ain't having this. And then, so I'm like, okay, whatever. I told the guys, dude, Ben found me on Steam again. They're like, dude, what the fuck? So then we started, they were like, what the fuck, dude? So we started, so we told Barry, like, Barry, you need to call Ben or go over to his house and just straight up have him stop. Like, this is getting fucking creepy, dude. Like, this is ridiculous. It is getting too much. And Barry's like, I'm already on it. I've been calling him this whole time, but he's been ignoring me. I'm gonna head out and head to his place because Barry's the only one who knows where Ben lives. Because like I said, he was the only person who managed, like, we still don't know why Barry was friends with Ben, but I guess, who knows? Whatever history they have, we never really questioned it. So it's like, whatever. And, have you met this Ben before? This is actually the story of when I first met Ben. This is why all of my friends, they didn't want me or any other girl to meet him before, because he has done this before. So, so I'm like, okay, whatever. Barry's already on his way over there. It's fine. Things will be settled in. So I just continue playing the game, and then I get another message. And I'm like, what? Well, like, who the fuck is messaging me now? This time it's on Skype. I don't know. And I'm just like, fucking, I'm surprised there's still people using this thing. So I looked it up. It was Ben again. Asking, like, I liked hearing your voice again. What voice did I give him? Yeah, I liked hearing your voice again. And I'm just like, oh, are you fucking... And then I'm like, Seb, he's messaging me through Skype now, and he's like, are you fucking serious? Like, what the hell? And I'm like, just block him and everything. And he's like, you know what? Just in case, block him on everything. We'll figure out his IGN. Like, we can have Ralph tell us his IGNs for everything, so you can just immediately block him on everything, because it's just like fucking stupid. Like, it's really dumb that he's now finding me in other places. I'm like, all right, sure, no problem. So I blocked him on Skype. I began searching for him through Discord. At the time, I didn't know how Discord worked, so it took me a little bit to figure out how to find somebody on Discord without adding them as a friend. It took me way too long to figure that shit out. And finally, by the time I found Ben's IGN for Discord, he sent one more fucking message to me saying, like, basically saying, oh, I wish we can talk more. I like hearing your voice. I'm like, fucking, you're a bastard. And I told, and I told Marcus, I'm like, dude, Marcus, this is kind of getting ridiculous. He's fucking everywhere. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, it really is. So we decided to like maybe have this intervention with Ben to have him stop this, because like I mentioned before, this isn't the first time he did something like this. Because according to Trent, he has done this before with another girl, and this is just, and then so they were kind of surprised that, like, even though they did this, even though they tried to talk him down into it, the fact he's doing it again, they're like, okay, we need to really do something about this. So we thought to each other, okay, we need to actually sit down and talk to Ben. We need to yell at this guy. I'm like, and I'm sitting here like, yeah, I blocked him on all other fronts, so we need to actually see him IRL, and I don't give a shit. I will yell at him. If he gets off on it, that's his problem, but he needs to really make sure that this shit ain't right. So I'm like, okay. So the following day, not the following day, but I think it was like 2 days later, we decided to hang out at the coffee shop again one more time. And we made sure this time that Ben was coming over. And it was a big, so it was a large group of us again. It was like the majority of the group. And I was there already. Like, I didn't show up like later on. Like, I was amongst the first there. Like, Seb and Marcus made sure that I was like probably like the third one there, because they wanted to make sure, like, okay, we have to be here first before you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, I get it. So we sat on the same table, on the same part of the patio or balcony, whatever it's called, and we sat down and just waited for everybody to show up. Majority of our friends knew what was happening. Ralph showed up first. And he was like, okay, I do have confirmation that Ben is coming. Barry made sure of that. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, good. And here comes Barry's car with Ben is very recognizable. Here comes Barry's car, and then Ben was in like at the back of the car with his usual greasy hair man bun and his fucked up shirt. Like, you can already see that he probably didn't even bother changing shirt again. At least it was a different shirt this time. So, but as soon as they, so when they parked, as soon as they got out, Ben, I guess, like, he was his usual extremely slouched state. He was not having any of it. Until, I guess, he noticed that I was there, and then he perked up again and started, like, almost running towards the patio. And once again, Barry had to hold him back and be like, dude, like, be normal for once. Like, holy shit. Like, what the fuck is going on with you? So, they made their way at a relatively normal pace. It seriously looked like Barry was holding back a dog. Like, it looked really, really awkward and kind of funny at the same time. And the two, when the two finally show up, Ben is like, it's you! I'm like, yeah, it's me. What the fuck is going on with it? Like, I started cursing immediately. Like, Seb and Marcus wanted to do all the talking, but I was like, no. I'm pissed. Because I wanted a relaxing day playing my fucking MMO. And it was ruined by some dude being creepy. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Ben was like, what do you mean? I'm like, why are you trying to message me in every form of messaging app out there? Like, bro, I've been having a bad week and you're making it fucking worse. What the hell is wrong with you? And he's like, I thought we could be I thought we could be close. I'm like, I ain't gonna be close to somebody who's fucking stalking me in game, messaging me randomly out there. Like, the way you're giving attention is extremely unwanted, and you need to really figure that shit out, bro, because you're fucking stupid, and I am not in the mood for it. Like, I started cursing at him, okay? I said a lot more obscene words. Let's just put it that way. Some words that I cannot say because YouTube will ding me for it. Let's just put it that way. And the big grin, excited little kid who just got his favorite Christmas toy, or his toy in Christmas, his smile started slowly turning upside down into a frown, because now he's starting to realize, oh, I don't like the way she acts. Because I am cursing up a storm here. I am pointing like I'm pointing my finger, and I'm acting like I'm a fucking very, very angry, obviously basically I decided to become a Karen that day and just yell at him for the most stupid shit possible. You made it colorful, pretty much. And eventually he just did not like it that he was being yelled at. None of the guys interrupted me, by the way. They just kept going. They just had to make sure that they were holding me back, because it looked like, and I remember, I'll swear to God on this one, my eyes glazed over. I saw red. I legitimately do not remember half the shit I said. I just remember being so fucking pissed, and I only remember Marcus and Seb holding me back because they're like, holy shit, she's pissed. Well, meanwhile, like, Trent and the others, they're laughing their ass off because, like, they never seen me this pissed before, and they found it hilarious because because I'm a tiny little idiot who wants to think I'm tougher than I really am, but I am not. I am shrimp, and I am yelling at this guy who towers over me, like, tenfold. Like, that is, like, he was a tall nerd, like I mentioned before, because Ralph is tall. Okay, Ralph is, like, almost 6'8" or something, and the fact that he's like Ben almost reached there, he's pretty tall, but I digress. Anyways, tangent aside. Eventually I calmed down and I'm like, oh god, I am, and I sat down. I took a deep breath and then took a big old swig of the tea that I was drinking. I think I was drinking some kind of chai tea because I cannot have coffee because yay, medical reasons. So, and Ben looked at me with, like, I couldn't tell his expression, but he had both a disappointed, angry, and sad look all mixed into one, if that makes any sense. Like there was something in like something clicked in him. It's like, wow, I don't like this at all. And he just straight up said, I don't like you. And I'm like, good. And he said, you're too vulgar. And I'm like, yeah, and you pissed me off. How am I? Well, what else I'm gonna be? And he began to say, I'll paraphrase this, because I legitimately do not remember, because I was still seething at this point. And he straight up said that I shouldn't be acting the way I am because I am a woman, and women should act more dainty. And I'm like, bitch, you don't get any form of daintiness from me with the way you stalked me. And Ben just straight up said, you have, and I'll say this, because this makes me laugh to this day, you have an ugly soul. And he began to walk away as if he was gonna drive away. So he stomped off. He has a disappointed slump. Okay. He had a disappointed slump. And he walked away, shuffling his feet. And he walked towards Barry's car, and he just kind of like stood there, because then he realized, oh, Barry was the one who drove me here. And Barry was like, nice. He didn't say anything else. He just looked at me and said, nice. And I'm like, sorry about that, homie. You'll be probably dealing with an angry Ben for a while. And he's like, I don't care. And he just ended up taking Ben home. He came back. And while they were gone, I sat there calming down. I was drinking my tea. It was iced, so it wasn't like it was, and I was just like, did I go too far? I think I went a little too far. And Seb was like, dude, I don't think you went far enough, in my opinion. Like, he was still very pissed at what happened. And and Trent was like, you know, hopefully this will teach this guy a lesson to not be like that with other girls. That was foreshadowing. He still did that. He still absolutely did that whenever there's another girl around. And unfortunately, it was Trent's girlfriend that he did that to. It's the same one too, Veronica. And that is a whole different story to tell. And it is rather fascinating how this guy did not learn his lesson the first time. Or the second time. Maybe the third time. But at that point, we literally just isolated him, essentially. We ostracized him. We're just like, okay, you know what? You're done. And we told Barry, like, Barry, either you get rid of Ben, or you have to stop hanging out with us, because Ben literally followed Barry everywhere still. After what the fuck Ralph did to him, he stopped going, Ben stopped stalking Ralph. So he went back to Ben. And so that's where we gave Ben the ultimatum. We're like, dude, no offense, but we cannot handle having Ben around anymore. Either you like stop hanging out with us, or you find a way to just stop having Ben follow you everywhere. We're not telling you to end your friendship with him, but we don't want him around anymore. Eventually, Barry did figure out just to leave Ben alone, essentially, so he became like a more permanent part of the group. But it was pretty bad that it took like 3, 4, I want to say maybe more than that, not tries, but situations where we had to basically sit there and be like, okay, this is getting kind of ridiculous. Considering the whole thing. Was Ben special or just poor with communication skills? We don't know. Legitimately, to this day, we don't know the story of Ben. We legitimately do not know the story of Ben. We never met his parents. We've asked Barry, who knew him the longest, but Barry, like I said, he kept him at arm's length. He never really learned Barry never even learned Ben's last name. Let's just put it that way. Like, he just vaguely knows where Ben lives because he would have Ben stop or like wait at a corner of a street to pick him up. Like, he never even went to his house. So, but because Barry was the only one who was willing to give Ben the time of day, that's why Ben clinged on to Barry. Now, we did ask Barry, did he do some weird shit to him like what he did with Ralph? And Barry said at first he did. But he shut that off real quick. And he's like, I wasn't gonna take any of that. Because he... To put it bluntly, Barry already had a situation similar to Ben. So he was like, nope. I'm not gonna be dealing with this whatsoever. So Barry was like one of the few people probably ever on Earth who did not even bothered with entertaining Ben in that way. Because he was like, no. I sat down. I needed to sit down. I was standing up the whole time. You know, you're bored or out of shape. I've only been standing up for like 5 hours. But anyways, kind of feel bad for him. We all did at first. But we slowly stopped that train of thought. You know what I mean? Like, at first we felt bad. And we tried to not tame Ben, but deal with him in a way where we're just like, okay, we need to figure out like how to make Ben realize that what he's doing is wrong. But he would never listen to us. Never listen to us. And even though we tried another way to communicate to him like via like parents or anything else, we couldn't figure out, like, according to Barry, Ben's parents was almost never home. So we're like, okay, so how do we contact people who are never home? And that's probably why he's kind of like, unfortunately, a little socially awkward, is because his parents are probably never home or something. But we don't know. We don't know the story, and he just kind of disappeared. I think Ben soon realized that if Barry was now leaving him alone, maybe he should be left alone. And we don't know what happened to him since. We legitimately don't know what happened to him. You can only feel so bad, though, before it becomes like a hindrance. That's pretty much it. But yeah, we don't know we don't know the history. We just kind of assume that, we kind of assume that we can try to teach him, you know, be around a good environment, but who knows. But also remember this happened, all this shit happened like, woo, this is gonna make me feel old. But all of this shit happened like over a decade ago. So there's like a very good chance that Ben is no longer the way that he was. So there's a very good chance that he finally, that he did change for the better. A very, very good chance. At least that's what I like to think so. Because to tell another story, a very similar story happened between Ben and Veronica. So to start off, okay, a lot of stories, but hey, this is what I'm here for. It's story day. Disclaimer though, the stream is not going to be very long because I can only yap so long without any distractions in front of me. Well, I meant there's only so much stories I can tell. And besides, I have stuff to do like cleaning and packing. So yeah, your favorite day. Man, maybe I'm it's almost as if I should open a YouTube channel and just start telling stories. It doesn't even have to be spooky stories or disturbing stories, honestly. Like, I do have a genuinely spooky story that has nothing to do with Ben for once. I know, it's a miracle. I do have a legitimately spooky story. It's a ghost story, and this is what made and I'm excited to tell that one. But let me tell you the one with Veronica first, because I promised the Ben Chronicles. Again, I will write down all of these stories. I will write down all of these stories, and I don't know if anybody's interested in reading these short stories, but if they are, I can leave like a Google Doc link, a Google Docy of all the stories if you want to reread them. If not, I don't care. I'll just keep them in my private collection. Poor Ben, what could have created such a creature? Maybe it was his upbringing or something. What a popular theory was two things. One, his parents weren't around, and two, when they were around, they just spoiled him because they probably felt bad that they were always at work, or that's what we're assuming, that they were always at work. I don't know, who knows. And leaving Ben kind of like by himself all the time made him not realize that his actions are not good. To say the least. It probably really emphasized that his actions weren't good, but yeah. Who knows? Who knows? But, so, the story with Veronica, kinda something similar happened. But in a little more frightening way. So, context. Let's start off. The situation with Veronica happened a few months after my situation. So this was like maybe, I want to say like 4 months later kind of thing. We were still hanging out in the mom and pop coffee shop. I like saying that. That's actually kind of fun now. Mom and pop coffee shop. So, and we were still hanging out there. At this point, the owners knew who we were. So they will give us like frequent, like the lady will give us like little discounts. She was such a nice lady. But anyways, back on track. So we were in the mom and pop coffee shop hanging out. And this time Trent brought Veronica over because, you know, he felt bad that he would hang out, but he never really would bring Veronica. But she would say like, oh, I just never really had an interest hanging out. I just never had an interest joining because like when we hang out in the mom and pop coffee shop, she was either at work or busy with school. Like there was always a reason, but she understood that most of the time was just her not being available. So she was never really mad over the fact that she was never invited because she understood. Hey Gala, how you doing? Welcome to story time. I'm telling all the Ben stories today. So today is one of the few instances where we finally got to hang out with Veronica. Now, a lot of us liked Veronica. She was honestly a really nice, chill, fun person to talk to. Like, she was really cool. You're about to fly out? Nice. Bro, have a safe flight, though. Story time to calm the nerves? I mean, it's a little calming. If you think about it, I mean, if you're okay with Ben. But yeah, so... Oh, hold on, I need to drink water and shit. Too much yapping. Okay. So, anyways. Yeah. So, on this faithful day, Veronica did finally show up. Like, she only showed up like a few times before, and she was very happily chatting with us and everything, just having a good old time, just chatting about literally anything. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I think at the time, Smash 4 came out. Yo, thank you for the biddies! Keep
Thank
yapping,
you.
it's awesome.
L_T_I__B__I_P_L.
Appreciate it.
I'm here to keep the conversation rolling. Enjoy your time here, M.
So, yeah, I think at the time, like, Smash 4 came out. So we were all like talking about it in anticipation for it. And Veronica was just sitting there. She didn't really play games. But she was definitely the artistic type. But the only game that she did play was Dungeons and Dragons, or at the time Pathfinder. We were trying out Pathfinder at the time. And we were talking about like, and we decided to change the subject to accommodate her, so we started talking about Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, and she was so excited every time we were about to do a campaign because she loved drawing all of our characters. She just liked drawing. She was very artistic, as I mentioned before, so she would offer to draw all of our characters, and it would be great because at least we all had like a cohesion to us rather than just one guy is a stick figure, the other one looks like a ripped from a manga, you know, the whole 9 yards. But so we were all chit-chatting, and Barry and Ralph was already there. So we were very surprised that out of nowhere, Seb looked like he saw a fucking ghost and nodded towards the coffee shop. He just went, "Guys, you won't believe who I'm seeing." And he nodded towards the coffee shop. And we were like, "What? What are you talking about?" And we all looked at the coffee shop. And the boy, Ben, was right there in the coffee shop, staring right at us, coffee in hand. And Trent noticed that Ben wasn't actually looking at us. He was looking at someone specifically. At least at first he thought he was looking at somebody specifically. And maybe his paranoia kicked in, because he noticed that Ben's head was slightly moving towards Veronica. And Trent was like, "Oh, hell no. Don't tell me. Don't tell me." And I told him, and I said, "He saw Veronica, didn't he?" And he's like, "Yep." And Veronica, she's like, "Wait, Ben's here?" And we're like, yep, Ben's here. And she, oh god, again, poor girl. She slightly panicked because her first experience with Ben, even though it was Halloween, she didn't like the first impression he left, because first impressions are the strongest impression anybody can make. It's usually pretty hard to get past the first impression, you know what I mean? So with that happening to her, with him laughing and being creepy in the window and everything, she was not in particularly happy to notice or to hear that Ben is here. So she scooched over closer to Trent and held on to him, because she's like, maybe if I make it real obvious that we're together, he won't mess with me. And at this point, he was a little bit of a creep to a girl before me, but both of us at the time were single. So we're assuming maybe because he was being stalkery to two girls who were single, maybe he will back off to somebody who is clearly taken. So we're like, okay, maybe that makes sense. You know what? Yeah, sure, that actually makes sense. So we were like, okay, we will give Ben the benefit of a doubt and be like, okay, maybe he won't be Ben with Veronica if she is clearly with Trent. So it's like, okay, we didn't gesture for him to come over or anything. We just kind of acknowledged his existence. We just gave him like what we call like a head wave, meaning like we just did this when we saw him, and then that was it. We're just like, and then that was it. And we just continued pretending to talk about what we were before, but we were all mainly talking about like, how the fuck did Ben get here? Because at the time, Ben didn't drive. At least we assumed he didn't drive. We didn't even know if he had a driver's license, because we were used to Barry driving him around everywhere. Even we asked Barry, like, dude, does he know how to drive? Does he have a car? And he's like, and he just shrugged. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. I never seen him drive. He never expressed interest in driving. Maybe he took the bus here or something. And we're just like, maybe. But then, like, if he took the bus here, that means he had to go out of his way to be here. Because, and at the time, there was no Uber or Lyft or anything. That shit didn't exist yet. Yeah, we're old. So it's just like, the fuck? like what? And we're like, okay, you know what? Whatever. We did eventually think, like, okay, you know, the uni is nearby. He probably just happened to be here because, like I said, the university that he goes to is nearby, and this is a nice coffee shop. So maybe that's the only reason. The summoning is the only explanation. Well, Flan, I like to think that if enough of our group is together, Ben will just spontaneously spawn. I like to think that's canon because every time all of us are together, he shows up. Who was present at the time? Fuck if I don't remember. But either way, he did eventually started walking towards us, and Seb was like, "Here he comes," and Marcus is like, "Yep, I see him. I absolutely see him." So we immediately changed the subject of us slightly panicking over the fact that he's walking towards us to, okay, let's just talk about something dumb like I think we started talking about Common Writer again. I think we were talking about Common Writer O's or something. We just pulled a topic out of our ass and started talking about it. You know what I mean? So we just started talking about the new Common Writer that was out, or I think it was the new one. I don't remember. And just started shooting the shit about like, oh, have you seen this new episode? Blah 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 blah. Just things like that. And Ben showed up. Obviously, he came up and be like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And I love the fact that Ben would look at all of us, like he would like literally scan, like he was downloading information. So he would just look at all of us, and when he looked at me, he did like a glare, and then continued going. I remember that because I'm just like, yeah, you better, you fuck. But when he noticed Veronica was sitting next to me. She was kind of like, not on the opposite side of the table, but she wasn't relatively close. But she was clinging on to Trent like crazy. And, when he saw Veronica, his gaze stayed on her a little too long, if that makes any sense. Like, he was like, other girl. Oh ho ho. You know what I mean? Like he was like confirming that there is now a new girl here and maybe he can talk to her. But we all noticed this. He hesitated in talking because he realized that Veronica was clinging on to what do you call it, Trent, pretty intensely. Like, she was making sure that I am obviously with a boyfriend, please do not fuck with me, and that kind of thing. So we're like, so he just waved meekly and he's like, hello. And Veronica, she said hi. And when she smiled, or when she said something, he smiled and he's like, were you from Halloween? Like, I recognize your voice. Were you from Halloween? And again, we were all like, how the fuck does he remember? Because mind you, this was now a long period of time from the Halloween party till now. I want to say it's like 6 months now. And she's like, you remember? Like, she's talking to him like he's a little kid. You know that situation where you're talking to somebody and you don't really know how to deal with them, so you're like, yeah, right, like that's like that kind of tone. And he's like, yeah, I'm surprised you remember. And he just said, very plainly, "Oh, you just have a pretty voice." That's all he said. And I'm sitting here like, at least he didn't remind you of a Digimon. At least he didn't name a Digimon. I'm kind of surprised, but I digress. So, but Bork, but we were just kind of sitting there, kind of surprised that Ben didn't do anything else. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but we were kind of surprised that Ben didn't do anything else throughout the time. He just sat there and just drank his drink. I'm assuming it was a form of coffee or something, and just kind of observed us. Yeah, he just kind of sat there and observed us, listened to every detail that we were saying. He constantly kept his eye on Veronica, but whenever she shifted her gaze towards him, he would look away this time. And he would start fidgeting in his chair, like he wasn't used to it. And it was probably because how Veronica handled the situation as to why Ben reacted differently. That's worth thinking. Because he was a lot more coy, I want to say, with Veronica than when he was with me. So we all assumed maybe he's acting like this because, one, I'll be very blunt. Veronica's is a lot more presentable than I am. At least at the time. So I'm like, okay. I'm assuming that, well, one, she's like I said, she's a lot more presentable. Like, I'm over here sitting like I'm pretending to be some kind of goth punk idiot, where she's dressed up nicely with beautiful makeup and everything. Like I said, she was very pretty. And she has a much kinder tone of voice than I do. So maybe he reacted that way because he assumes that she's a bit more, I don't know, approachable. I have no offense to it, but we just find it kind of weird. Like, where's the wildness? Like, what happened? So we all kind of let our guard down for that brief moment because we're like, okay, Ben is behaving himself. That's kind of weird. The soul, yeah, he sensed my empty soul. Totally it. So we're like, okay, you know, he's behaving himself. And like I said, Veronica made it very obvious that she's dating Trent, and the two of them are clinging on to each other. Like, they normally don't act like lovey-dovey couples with us because we already know that they're together. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, and they didn't need to do any PDAs. We're just like, whatever, they're a couple, whatever. And at this point, they've been together for like 2 years now. So like they've been together for a little bit. And so we're like, okay, whatever. Maybe that helped. So we continued talking and chit-chatting and everything, but like I said, he would occasionally glance over at Veronica, and when she looked at him, he would look away. But we didn't think of nothing of it because he was still very fidgety. And then whenever she laughed, he would laugh, even though we're pretty sure he doesn't really know what we're talking about or wasn't paying attention. Because it's like this. We're all talking and we would go ha ha ha, and she would laugh too, and then like he would laugh like louder immediately after her, like, oh, that's my signal to laugh with her, and then he would laugh with, and it kind of make it awkward because now she feel like, oh, am I like a trigger for him to do something? She didn't want to cause any problems, so she kind of started holding back a little bit to the point where she's like, okay, maybe, and she's like, okay, maybe it's time for me to go home. I don't want to cause any issues because she knew the history of Ben and she heard about what happened with me. Kind of hard not to. Trent told the whole thing, especially since he was there to witness part of it. So I'm like, okay. So she's like, you know what? I'm getting tired. I want to go home, and and Trent was like, are you sure? They both came separately. They both came in their own separate cars. But Trent didn't feel comfortable that she was gonna go home. But he kind of understood that this is a weird situation that he didn't intend on putting her in. So she's like, yeah, no problem. So he walked her to her car, hand holding and everything, like still very much proving that they were together. And Ben just watched her walk away. He didn't say anything. He didn't really do anything. We just all noticed that his jitteriness slowed down. It's as if it was like a like as if her presence magnetized his jitteriness, and as she walked away farther and farther, he slowed down more and more. It was kind of like it was kind of odd. It's like, huh, okay. All right, well, interesting. So we still watched Ben, but we continued talking, and then when we watched Veronica drive away, and Trent came back, and he just nodded, pretty much saying that yeah, she left. And he glanced over at Ben to make sure that he didn't suddenly decide to go home. Like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go home too. No, he stayed there. And we're like, okay, cool. He didn't suddenly have this spontaneous urge to go home, but we kind of wanted to see how he goes home. But we're all assuming that maybe Barry would take him home, but like an hour or two had passed. And we were all getting kind of tired. And we were all slowly starting to leave. And that's when Ben stood up and was like, I'm going to go home too. And we're like, okay, take care, Ben. And he's like, mm-hmm. That's all he did. And so he stood up, still clasping on his coffee that's probably empty by now. And he started walking away. And we all kind of wanted to watch him go somewhere. Because we're like, okay, how did he get here? Because we don't remember him ever mentioning that he drives. We don't even know if he owns a car. Nothing. Like, we don't know anything. We just know that Barry normally took him everywhere. And Barry, like, he still was like, here, let me take you home. And Ben, he was like, you don't have to. And so he kept walking away towards the parking lot. And we're like, the fuck? Where is he going? So all of us being fucking awkward as shit people, okay, we all, like, as soon as we started seeing Ben walk away, we kind of watched him. After he gained a little bit of distance, we all kind of, like, stood up and snuck around the building to see, like, how the fuck did he get here? And lo and behold, he was digging in his pocket and he pulled out keys. And we heard a whoop whoop. And we're like, what the fuck, he drives? Like, what? Like, he drives? Barry, why the fuck did you just say us he drives? And he's like, I didn't know. He always wanted me to take him everywhere. So we're like, this motherfucker drives. I'm like, what the fuck? This sounds like a slice of anime plot. And this is only the calm part. This is the silly. This is only the silly part. So we're like, okay, well then fine. And so we just assumed that the reason why Ben wanted Barry to drive him everywhere because he doesn't know how to be a friend. So we started thinking, okay, maybe he's just an awkward guy. And then I started feeling bad and how I snapped at him because I'm like, maybe he's just an awkward guy. Because, like, he behaved himself in front of Veronica. And she's long gone by now, so there's no way that he can follow her home. So it's like, okay, whatever. So he drove off and we all drove off and we went home and went online and started chatting even more. And awkward and foobar are completely different. True. So we started chatting and Veronica was with us again. And she also played the MMO that we were playing, but she was very casual with it because, like I said, she wasn't much of a video game player, but she really was interested in this was the same MMO that I mentioned before, but she was really interested in what we were playing because, of course, like all good MMOs, fashion is endgame, and she really likes the fashion. So she was very excited to log in. I think at this time there was like a Hatsune Miku collaboration with the MMO, and she really wanted to get the clothes for it. So she was so happy to hop in and was willing to chuck money at the game just to get the clothes. So at this time, like I mentioned before, I did already ban, or not ban, but I did block Ben. So, and at this point, I did not know how I kind of forgot how his character model looked like. But I remember Veronica asking, "Hey, is that one of you guys?" And we're like, "What are you talking about?" Because she was in, there is a fashion district of the game that we play. It's like a self-proclaimed fashion district. Is where all the players go to kind of like AFK and show off their fashion. What MMO had Miku in it? Miku wasn't in it. It was just a brief collaboration where you can get their clothes. What game didn't? True. There's a lot of games that had a Miku collaboration. But yeah, there was like a dedicated spot where all of the fashionistas, is how we call it, just go and hang out in AFK. And she likes hanging out there a lot. It is quite funny whenever they do like a player hosted fashion show. There was even a runway and everything. I think eventually the devs figured out that we players have issues and we need to show off our fashion. So it's like, okay, cool. So in case you're wondering what MMO this was a long time ago. It was Mabinogi. That was the MMO that we played. And centuries ago, there was a collaboration with Miku where you can get their clothes. Miku wasn't in it. Like, you don't see her in the game, but you can get their clothes. And I instantly got Kaito's clothes because I love Kaito. And he matched my boy. So it worked out well. But anyways, so but yeah, she's like, is one of you guys like around here? And we're like, well, what are you talking about? Because at the time we were in a dungeon and we were already like in a dungeon, just running a random dungeon for some reason. I don't even remember why we were running it. And I think I was doing a story mode, someone was doing dungeons. Like, none of us were in the fashion district. And she's like, well, because I keep seeing the same character over and over wherever I go. And we were all like, oh, how does he look like? And Seb said, like, he just started saying, how does he look like? And she's like, I don't know, but he kind of looks like just a generic beginner character. And we're like, I hope it's not Ben. And Trent immediately asked, did he did they message you? Do you have any messages? Do you have any DMs? She's like, no, I just see this guy everywhere I go. So I assume it was one of you guys. And we're like, no, why? We think that's Ben. And I told her, like, dude, you like, just be careful. Try to tell us his username so that way we can block him, or that way you can block him. And at first, Veronica is sweet Veronica. She's like, but I don't want to block him. He's not really doing anything. Following me around in game doesn't really mean anything. And we're just like, oh, sweet summer child. And we're like, don't give him any special ideas. Just block him or keep your distance. Don't approach him. And she's like, okay. She listened to us because, like, she heard what happened to me, so she does so, and she kind of remembers like everything else, so she's still keeping her distance. And eventually we heard her say, oh, he messaged me. And we're like, what did he say? And she said, oh, he just said hi. So I'm gonna start talking to him. We're like, Veronica, don't do it. don't do it, Veronica. She's like, maybe he's not that bad. Maybe he became better. He wasn't bad when we met at the coffee shop. And we're like, we're only hoping, but maybe not. And Trent, being very protective because now his girlfriend's on the line, he's like, I don't trust him regardless, don't. And she'd be the first victim. Right? And Trent is like, no, don't, like you shouldn't. And I basically repeated the words saying like, don't trust him. Like he may have been behaved, but maybe he thinks that you're alone. You gotta really emphasize like, hey, I'm in chat with the others or something like that. Like do something or just block him. Like honestly, just ignore him and block. And she's like, okay, you know what? Fine. I won't. So she kept her distance, blocked her, and just blocked him, I'm sorry, and just kind of like kept doing whatever. And then Trent, he was like, oh, fucking hell. And we're like, what happened? It's like, Ben messaged me. I'm like, what did Ben say? It's like, Ben, and he said, Ben said, why did you make her block me? And I'm like, how did he, and then me being a fucking idiot, I'm like, how did he figure out that she blocked him so instantly? And he's like, and Trent said he probably tried to message her, but it didn't go through because she already blocked him. And so now Trent is getting these flood of messages saying, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Repeatedly, over and over. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Over and over and over. And he's like, guys, I think we accidentally broke him, and not in the tee-hee fun way. And we're like, what the fuck? So Veronica then said on chat, guys, I'm getting messages on Discord. Do you know who this is? And I don't remember the name of, I think it was like, I don't remember the username that he used to use in Discord. Because he would frequently change his name in Discord. So like every 3 months or so, it will be something new. Like one day he will be The Mask, another day he will be Ghost, the other day he will be Skeletor. Like his in-game name or his Discord name would change frequently. So I don't remember what he was using at the time. I think he was just calling himself the Black Bear. And she's like, I'm getting messages from a guy called Black Bear, and he's asking me, and he was just saying like, hi, how are you, or something. And we're like, well, we don't know who Black Bear is, but we have a strong feeling of who it might be. So Trent was like, babe, you gotta block him immediately. And I'm like, and I'm like, you have to block him. Then one person chimed in, Seb, who said, hold on, wait.
Warning, an ad break is happening. We'll be back shortly.
Lamau adds, he was like, wait, hold on, wait. Let's confirm if it is Ben or not. Because remember, Veronica does talk to other people online. And she is known to get messages through Discord for trading. Because what's more surprising with Veronica, she has like a quote-unquote clothing business. So in Mommy, you are allowed to trade everything. So she was more than willing to basically RMT her way to richness. That she would buy clothes and then sell them to people in-game so she can make gold off of that way. So she has her own premium fucking clothing shop because she doesn't mind spending the money. I mean, she works. I mean, that's what she said. Like, I fucking work. I don't care. I could spend money. And it's allowed within the TOS to buy the clothes and sell it sell it anyways. So like, whatever. It's not against, if you can do it, she does it. So it's not surprising for her to get messages from other people. So that's why Seb was like, hold on. She isn't, like, she can get messages from other people. This isn't the first time nor the last time this can happen. We need to make sure it's actually, we need to make sure it's actually Ben and not just some random guy who's trying to buy pants from her. And we're like, okay, you know what? That's fair. Maybe because Ben is fresh in our mind right now, we're just panicking. Maybe. So we're like, and so we told Veronica, you know what? Sorry for telling you what to do. You just do you. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'm already talking to them anyways. And she's like, and he's scaring me. And we're like, why? Because then she says, because the guy, because this person keeps saying, I really liked how you looked today. I liked the perfume you were smelling. I know what kind of perfume you wear now. Started complimenting on her. Thank you for the sub, Trip. Thank you. Oh wait, thank you for the gifted sub. Not Trip, Shep. I will always mix up your name. God damn it, Stray. But thank you for the gifted sub, Stray, to Trip. There you go. Fuck it out. One day I'll get the name right. Oh, so he went Bloodhound and learned her scent? Pretty much. So it's just like, oh, he's complimenting her smell. He complimented her, the look of her eyes, her clothes, and then it's like, okay, now he's complimenting her, and then he's like, okay, guys, I don't like him anymore. It's like, why? I said, and she said, because now he's saying, I like the length of your legs, I like your hands, your fingers. Guys, I think this is Ben. Like, she's like, you can hear the panic start slowly settling into her voice. And she's like, I'm gonna block him right now. I'm getting scared. I'm getting really, really scared. And we're like, oh fuck, here we go again. Okay, so we told her to block. We told her to log out of the game because Trent asked, do you see that random character model out there? And she said, yeah, it's always there. And she's like, yep, nope, just logged out. Yep, nope, just logged out. Log out immediately. We need to fix this once again. And she's like, I hope I don't get to see him tomorrow because I know Ben goes to the same university that I do. And we're like, oh yeah, fuck, you know, of course he happens to be in the same uni as her. And Trent, obviously so, is getting paranoid. He's getting scared. He's like, there ain't no way that my girl is getting stalked by some bastard. So he's like, he's like, you have to wait for me to pick you up and I'll take you to school and we'll go to classes together. Because they go to the same uni, that's how they met. But they don't have the same classes. So it was going to be kind of hard to keep an eye on her. But she said, it'll be fine. I know how to, and she's like, it's fine. I don't really take the popular routes to go to classes. She's like, I always take like the back roads because for those who went to university, you know how there's just like, there are popular routes to get to classes, and then there's like the back room, like the back rooms that you go into. She takes the back rooms. She's a frequent user of back rooms. So she kind of memorized how to get through the school without going through the major courtyards and walkways and hallways. So she's like, don't worry, I'll just use them more. I don't think Ben knows about them, so it's fine. And Trent's like, you know what, you're right. But still wait for me in class, or still wait for me and I could take you to class. I don't care if I'm a little bit late to mine. I just need to make sure that you're fine. And she's like, okay, deal. So tomorrow has come. And now this is all secondhand recollections. So Trent did pick up Veronica and they went to school together, obviously. And walked her straight to the first class. And his class was, he didn't mind being late, and luckily, like, it didn't really matter. Like, most teachers / professors didn't care if you were late to class as long as you pass. And luckily, most of his teachers were like that too. So it's like, whatever. So once class has ended, he bolted straight to her classroom. Okay, he just bolted straight there. He already knew how to do it. And he literally ran to where her class was. Because he's like, he's not taking any chances. He's not letting her be left alone at all today. Because with how Ben was, he didn't want to take it, like, obviously he didn't want to take any chances. So Veronica stayed within the classroom until she physically saw Trent waiting for her outside the door, and then she'll walk out and then they will go to class together. And they decided to take the deserted route that she mentioned before. Yo, thank you for the biddies again.
I'm sorry you're feeling lonely. L_T_R_I_P_L.
You're feeling really
We're
lonely
here
homeless
for
because
you.
your friends were all
Enjoy
offline.
the
Your
tales
tales
and
bring you joy.
company. M.
I'm glad. Genuinely, I'm glad. So, hopefully, I'm mainly telling these tales as a precautionary tale of like, if you experience somebody like this, for the love of God, actually approach them and don't do what we did and just kind of brush off the actions frequently, because look what happened. But either way, so they decided to take the deserted route, and while they were walking down like these like these backroom ass pathways and everything, Veronica swore up and down she heard him laugh. She heard the Ben laugh, the zzz, 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 zzz laugh, and it freaked her out. She's like, where is he? Where is he? And Trent is like, I don't. And Trent, he was like, Ben, where the fuck are you? We can hear you laugh. But he never came out of whatever bush or doorway he was hiding in. They just heard him laugh. And apparently this happened throughout the university, like throughout the day in uni. They were at the end, they were paranoid because they just heard him laugh, but they never saw him. And they're like, okay, so next time we're not taking the deserted route anymore. Maybe he can't get away with it when we take the main road off of uni. And she's like, okay, but the problem is the last of their classes, there's a large time gap. Veronica's class ended earlier than Trent's, and it was about like an hour gap in between. So she had to either wait in class, but she wasn't allowed to because, you know, they got to kick out eventually, or just hide somewhere or just hang out somewhere close to Trent's class. Either way, this one was going to be kind of hard. She thought maybe I can just hide in the bathroom stall, like in the women's bathroom. But she said, you know what? I'm just going to go to the library. That's where everybody is. There's no way Ben's going to be creepy in the library. Like, he did show some self-restraint when we were at the coffee shop. And because we took the back alleys, that's probably why he was being creepy. But when there's other people watching, maybe he would not be the way he is. So she was like, okay. She texted Trent, I'm gonna be in the library. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna be like this because the library's always full. And he's like, you know what, that's a good idea. Just book it to the library as soon as your class is over. And she's like, okay, I got you. So after class, she was just, as soon as the professor said, thank you, have a lovely day, she packed up her bags and just basically sped walked out the door and started doing a beeline towards the library. But as she was walking and she was taking the main pathways to the library. She wasn't taking any back alleys, nothing. She was just going straight there. even just walking through like courtyards and shit, she did not care. But as she was walking, she heard his laugh again. And she's like, Ben, where the fuck are you? Like, unfortunately, she did stop moving and just started looking around. Because she's like, I heard you, Ben. Where are you? You need to stop this. You're creeping me out. And she just kept hearing his laugh again. She's like, okay, I need to, no, I'm getting distracted. I need to go to the library. So she started walking again. But as soon as she turned around, she saw Ben, not directly in front of her, but like in front of her, waving at her. And he was like, hi, Veronica, I see you. I smelled you the whole time. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. She felt, like, according to Veronica, she felt stupid that she stopped to look around. And she started panicking. She's like, why are you here? Like, why are you here? And like, why are you doing this to me? You're scaring me. And Ben, it's like, I thought you liked being scared. because you laughed every time you got scared in Halloween. She's like, I know I didn't like it. You were being very creepy. Being very creepy. And he's like, I'm sorry. Do you want me to walk you to the library? I know you're gonna be waiting for Trent there. And she's like, how the fuck did you figure that out? But she thought to herself, okay, maybe it's just a process of elimination. Maybe he just figured out that I was gonna meet him there anyways. So like, okay, whatever. She didn't think of anything of it. So she's like, okay, you know what? So she said, no, I'm gonna go there by myself. You can go back home, and you can go home. And he's like, okay. So she kind of took a very exaggerated, like, loop around Ben. You know how you're trying to avoid something, but you don't unsure like how wide it is, or you just trying to like really make sure that you're avoiding it. So she took like the widest turn to avoid this guy, as if she was avoiding like his bubble or something. So she just very widely moved around him and then kept walking towards the library. She would occasionally turn around and she would still see Ben staring at her, looking at her, watching her walk to the library. And then what creeped her out the most, she said, was that he did a gesturing with his hand that you do when you're trying to like smell food and you're trying to waft the smell into your nose to get a good whiff at it. That's what he did towards her, as if he was trying to get a good whiff of her perfume. And she was like, no, this isn't good. No, this isn't good. So she made it to the library and waited for Trent, told Trent about this whole situation. And Trent was like, okay, you're never going to see this Ben again. We're going to go, like, me and the group are going to talk to him. You're not going to be there. And she's like, why not? Like, why not? And he said, because I don't think he can take, like, because he's like, I don't think he will be scared of you. No offense. And she's like, at first she took offense to this, because she's like, what do you mean not scared of me? And he's like, Vin yelled at him and cursed. You almost never curse, sweetie. Which is true. She's like, near say so. Let's just put it that way. Like, she almost never curses. So she's like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. Just let me know what happens. So later that day, Trent told us the story. They asked me not to join because they didn't want to... They wanted to do the yelling for Veronica since she's not going to be there because, again, she's a delicate flower. Nicest person you'll ever see. We cannot see her actually yelling at somebody, and she did not want to face Ben anymore, especially after that situation. So, according to them, they invited him over to Seb's house since clearly Ben knows where Seb lived. And they basically told him, bro, you're fucking creepy. And they just yelled at him. Pure disappointment. And according to Trent, he just kept asking where Veronica was. And he said, and Trent straight up said, you're never going to see her again. He said, I swear on my life, you're never going to see her again because you cannot control yourself anymore. And she is my girlfriend and she is taken. And even if we do break up in the future, you cannot be anywhere near her. You are not allowed anywhere near her. I don't care if we're broken up. I will make sure you'll never go near her again. Once again, he does the whole, like, something flipped in his head. His facial expression switched from, like, a little joyful glee to utter disappointment, anger, and seethe. And he just walked out the door without a word. And we just hear his car start and drove away with tires screeching. And ever since then, he never bothered Veronica again. as far as we know, this was the last time that he has done this to another girl. As far as we know. That ended up not being true, but hey, I digress. But yeah. Ben's stories. That was like the only other Ben story I got when it involved Veronica. At least I managed to get all of the concurrent characters in one. But yeah, that is... Now, I hope y'all keep in mind this. These are real stories. I wish I was making these up. I have exaggerated a bit on the details and everything. You know, I did dramatize them a little bit, but these were real experiences. These were real experiences that we all went through with Ben, which is the sad thing. And on retrospect, we probably could have and should have actually reported him to like the authorities or something, but we were all young and stupid, and we didn't really want that kind of trouble, or to, how do I put it this way? We didn't want to go that far. I don't know how to describe it, but like, even though it was bad, we didn't want we didn't want to feel like we're exaggerating. I don't know how to describe it, but it was definitely something that we should have, like, in retrospect, yeah, we could have definitely taken to the authorities or just figure out really what was wrong with Ben, but we couldn't, we didn't, and then now look what happened. But it's okay. You know, that was in the past, and as I mentioned before, we don't know where Ben is anymore. We did kind of lose track of him once we all started moving out from California. Once the great moving happened, I started to sorry, so much talking that my throat's dying on me. But I started the trend of moving out of California, and then we all started following suit. So after we all moved out, we don't know what happened to him anymore. We legitimately don't know. It's been so long, and we all genuinely hope that he got the help that he needed.
Hydration
but who knows?
is important.
I have this one friend that makes everyone uncomfortable, but I feel so sorry for them. And that's kind of what we thought Ben was. He just didn't understand his actions.
Or, thank you for the head pat.
Reminds me of Ben of Ben's situation a little. That's the thing that we all kind of assumed, is that Ben is a very socially awkward person. Okay, like, obviously, duh, he's very socially awkward. So we just kind of assumed that he got all of his social cues from like watching anime and shit. So he didn't really understand that shit that happened from there doesn't translate well IRL. That's what we assumed. I don't know if that's true or not, because it's just like, we're all introverts. Like, if you want to put things in perspective, there's only 2 people who are extroverted in our group, and the rest of us are introverts who got adopted by the extroverts. Marcus and Sebastian are the 2 extroverts in the group. They always want to hang out. Everyone else, me, Trent, the others, Barry, Ralph, we're all introverts that got adopted by them, essentially. And we formed a big old nice friend group. That's literally what it is. So, which is why we kind of like thought maybe he's just a fellow introvert like us, but it just didn't feel right. Every time that something like this happened, we're just like, how do you not realize that what you're doing is horribly wrong? But as I mentioned before, we didn't hear of any official like mental disability or anything. We did not hear anything of that. We don't know if he still does, if he had any to begin with. We just knew that bro's a little creepy. Just a wee bit. Just a wee bit creepy. But oh well. It is what it is. It was in the past now, but Ben sure does make good stories. Ben sure does make good stories, and I'm pretty happy about that. Makes it easy for me to at least milk him for content. Keeps you coming back? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah. Do you ever wonder if our lives are better thanks to the weirdos we run into? They do definitely make us change our perspective and things. You know what I mean? Like, it's the whole situation of it's better to learn. Like, at least we learned what to do in that situation, so it's easier to, how do you call it, like not counteract it, but to deal with it when the time comes. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. Lessons and whatnot. Exactly. It's basically we learned the lessons of this situation, and at least we know now how to deal with it much better than what we did back then. So what happens when y'all meet again and Ben shows up at the same age when he when y'all stopped seeing him? Then at least it's been confirmed that he's a cryptid. That'll be kind of cool. I knew a cryptid. Imagine though. Imagine. But yeah, it is. Definitely a something. For sure. It's definitely a something. Oh, Ben. Ben. Again, I do genuinely wish that at least he is better. I know I keep repeating the same thing over and over, but like someone like that, as we all know, someone like that can very much like fall down the rabbit hole into something insane. Like we all heard the stories of the, unfortunately, popular serial killers. So I'm hoping Ben did not turn into something like that. Now, I'm not saying that if you are like that, you will turn into that. No. I'm just saying, please, for the love of fuck, seek help. But either way. There you go, guys. Short and simple, sweet stories for Halloween. You know what? I probably might do this again, but with a more fun, but with more stories. I did have one more story to tell, which was actually a ghost story. But I have to actually ask my friends about that situation because it's a real, okay, I don't know about a real ghost story, but it's a ghost story. You know what I mean? Like it's a real ghost story of, because we went to a like a haunted place, and I think I want to say we experienced a ghost, but I'm kind of hesitant to say because I'm kind of skeptical about it. Part 2? Yeah, probably a part 2. You're gonna say now you're being a Ben? Shep, Stray, I prefer if you don't say that because Ben is not a good character to even mention like that. Just saying. Just be careful on that. Or do or don't, I don't care. I'm not your supervisor. I don't give a shit. But either way. But yeah, I'll have to refine the ghost story. I wanted to tell it today, but I didn't have a chance to actually write it out. Cause all the stories that I read today, they're all written out. As I mentioned before, I have a Google Docie with them in it. the ghost story I want to write and give a proper editing to. Plus your throat is giving out. Yeah, you can hear. I'm getting raspy. How embarrassing that if I talk for like 3 hours straight, my throat goes bad. I thought Maple Story will teach me how to speak more, because I talk all the time in Maple. Yeah, and then hilariously I ran out of water. So that's also the embarrassing thing, but it's okay. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I'm sorry for cutting it without more chit-chatting, but 3.5 hours of story time. Hell yeah. Oh man, do you guys think I should make a podcast where I just tell these stories? You think I should do like a podcast, like have another YouTube channel with just me telling these stories? Nah, ain't nobody's gonna be interested in that shit. Not a podcast, I guess. It's just more like story time. Kind of like, I don't know if anybody watches like Mr. Ballin or like any of those channels where they just tell spooky stories. The dark, strange, and mysterious stories written in the written form, like told in a spooky format, something like that. Like, I don't know if anybody's interested in it, but let's see. But either way. Uh-oh. Mr. Ballin is the goat? Yeah. I like his stuff. I listen to it all the time. Alright, you lovely nerds. But I will genuinely go ahead and end the stream right here. Thank you everybody for stopping by and just putting up with me yapping the whole time. No video games, no nothing. I hope you like the little library set up here. All the nice lighting. Look at it. Look at it. It's very beautiful. It's very cute. Maybe next time you guys will see a new angle. Like, look, there's stars up there. I just realized you guys didn't notice. There's stars up there. It's very, very, very pretty. And there's a floor. Oh, my gizmo showing. Well, and then you guys could see my gizmo showing. All the library and the books and everything. It's really nice. But yeah. Oh my god, it's 3D. Yeah, it's 3D. But yeah. There, I hit my gizmo. There you go. No more immersion break. Even has 3 axes. I know. It's amazing. Now, but yeah, maybe next time I'll use this for another story time. Again, it's a very cozy place. I really like it. But either way, we'll go ahead and start raiding English Hold. We'll raid Whimsy, who's currently streaming a spooky game called Little Goody Two Shoes. So there's that. Go ahead and treat Whimsy with all the care and all the love out there. And thank you everybody for stopping by. I really, really appreciate it. I'm not streaming for the rest of the week because I will be going to MapleCon. This will be the first time I'll be heading to MapleCon too, so that's gonna be kind of exciting. So, but I will be back next week with my same usual streams. So I do apologize that I'll disappear for a little bit, but hey, at least y'all got a little chatty stream today with stories. But either way, I'll see you guys later. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.